What is the sound of your own mind when the world finally goes quiet? Is it a gentle, placid hum of peace, or the chaotic, troubled echo of a day that has wounded you? For many of us, the silence of the night is not silent at all. It is a vast chamber where the worries of the day, the ghosts of yesterday, and the fears of tomorrow gather to speak all at once. The mind becomes a restless lake, its surface continuously broken by the pebbles of things left unsaid, tasks left undone, anxieties that have no name. This is the exhaustion of the modern world, a weariness that seeps deeper than the muscles, deeper than the bones. It is a fatigue of the soul, a profound sense of disconnection from the quiet, steady center of your own being. We collapse into our beds not to rest, but to surrender, hoping that unconsciousness will offer a temporary reprieve from the relentless noise within. But what if tonight could be different? What if sleep was not an escape, but a destination, not a collapse, but a sacred ritual? Tonight, we will not try to fight the noise with more noise, nor will we demand an empty, sterile silence. Instead, we will invite in a different kind of sound, a sound that does not seek to conquer the silence, but to fulfill it. A sound that carries within its vibration the ancient frequency of compassion, the gentle, steady resonance of a chant. This is not entertainment. It is not a distraction. It is a key, a tuning fork for the soul, designed to help you resonate with the peace that is already your birthright. It is an invitation to step across the threshold, away from the chaos of the constructed self, and into the vast, silent temple of your true nature. There is a space within you that the world cannot touch. Tonight we journey home to it. Close your eyes and listen. The day has ended, but the mind refuses to rest. The body is still, nestled in the soft darkness, yearning for oblivion, but the mind, the restless ghost in the machine, has other plans. It has become a grand theater, and tonight's performance is a relentless reenactment of the hours that have just passed. The echoes begin softly at first, like whispers from the wings. A conversation replayed, word for word. The inflection in a colleague's voice, was it concern or was it judgment? The awkward silence in a meeting, a moment you wish you had filled with a wiser, more confident response. Your own words, coming back to you now, feeling clumsy, inadequate. These are the first echoes. The surface ripples on the lake of consciousness. They are the residue of a world that demands performance, a world where every interaction is a potential point of failure or success for the fragile ego. This is not a malfunction of your mind. You must understand this first. Your mind is not your enemy. It is a fiercely loyal, yet deeply misguided, servant. It believes its primary function is to protect you, to solve problems, to ensure your survival. And so, it obsessively sifts through the data of the day, searching for threats, for unresolved loops, for anything that might endanger the self it is sworn to protect. That sharp comment from a loved one, the mind replays it not to torture you, but in a desperate attempt to understand its source, to neutralize its power, to prepare a better defense for next time. That mistake you made at work. The mind projects it onto a giant screen, not to shame you, but to analyze it from every angle, to run 1,000 simulations so that it never happens again. It is the ego's frantic attempt to control a world that is, by its very nature, uncontrollable. It believes that by thinking harder, by worrying more, by reliving every failure, it can somehow retroactively fix the past and bulletproof the future. And so you lie there, a prisoner of this well-intentioned tyrant, caught in the crossfire of its strategies. Your body, a vessel of deep primal wisdom, craves the stillness of the earth, the restorative dark of the void. But your mind is a storm in the heavens, crackling with the electric energy of unresolved thought. This is the great conflict, the painful schism of modern existence, a body longing for peace and a mind at war with itself. You feel the tension in your jaw, the tightness in your shoulders, the shallow, constricted nature of your breath. You plead with your own mind, please, just for a little while, be quiet. but it does not know how. It has forgotten the language of stillness. This is the moment for the first, most crucial awakening. This is the ray of light that cuts through the storm. You are not the storm. You are the sky in which the storm is taking place. The thoughts, the echoes, the replays, they are not you. They are events. They are weather patterns passing through the vast open space of your awareness. They are clouds, and for your entire life, you have believed you are a cloud, drifting, colliding, and dissolving at the mercy of the wind. But your true nature is the sky itself, limitless, serene, and fundamentally untouched by the darkest cloud or the most violent storm. To realize this is to take the first step out of your prison. You do not need to fight the thoughts. You do not need to defeat them. You only need to cease identifying with them. You must withdraw your investment in their drama. This is where the sound comes in. This ancient, sacred chant. It is not more noise. It is an anchor. It is a focal point for the wandering mind, a lifeline back to the present moment, back to the sky, away from the clouds. The mind cannot easily hold two things at once. It cannot be lost in the drama of yesterday's conversation and be fully present with this sound, right here, right now. The chant is a gentle, persistent invitation to come home. Imagine your mind is a room that has not been aired out in years. All the furniture is covered in a thick layer of dust. Each particle of dust is a thought, a memory, an echo from the day. Your first instinct might be to enter the room with a wet cloth and frantically try to wipe every surface, to wage war on the dust. But this is exhausting. It stirs up more dust than it clears. You become dirty, frustrated, and the room remains a mess. The chant offers a different way. It is the act of simply opening a window in that room. It is a soft, steady breeze that begins to circulate. It does not attack the dust. It does not focus on any single particle. It simply changes the atmosphere of the entire room. It moves the air. And as the breeze flows, gently, persistently, some of the lighter particles of dust are simply lifted and carried away. Others, deprived of the stagnant air in which they thrived, begin to settle. The room begins to clear, not through violent effort, but through the introduction of a new, pure element. The chant is this breeze. Do not fight your thoughts. Simply open the window of your awareness to the sound and let it move through you. Here is the practice. As you lie here and the echoes of the day inevitably arise, do not follow them down their rabbit holes. Do not engage them in conversation. The moment you notice a thought has captured you, the memory of an email, the sting of a criticism, gently, without any judgment, label it. Silently, in your own mind, just say the word thinking, or worrying, or replaying. This act of labeling is incredibly powerful. It creates a tiny wedge of space between the observer you and the thought. It reminds you that you are the sky, not the cloud. Having labeled it, you must then release it. Attach that thought to the sound of the chant you are hearing. Imagine the thought is a single dry leaf, and the river of the chant is flowing steadily beneath it. Place the leaf onto the surface of the river. Do not throw it. Do not push it. Simply let go of your grip, and watch as the current of the sound carries the leaf away, downstream, out of sight. The thought may return. The leaf may wash up on the shore for a moment. This is not a failure. It is the nature of the mind. When it returns, you simply repeat the practice. Gently, patiently. With the kindness you would show a small child who is learning to walk and keeps falling down, you label it. Thinking again. And you place it back on the river of sound. This is an act of profound self-compassion. You are not scolding your mind. You are retraining it. You are teaching it a new way to be. With every repetition, you are strengthening the muscle of your awareness. You are weakening the chains of unconscious identification. You are remembering who you are. Allow the vibrations of the sound to be the main event. Let the echoes of the day become background noise. like the sound of distant traffic when you are engrossed in a beautiful piece of music. You can still hear the traffic, but you are not listening to it. Your attention, your focus, your heart is with the music. Let this chant be your music tonight. Let it be the thing you choose to listen to. Each note, each syllable is a step away from the chaotic theater of the ego and a step deeper into the serene temple of the self. The day is done. Its power over you is an illusion, a ghost story the mind tells itself. You do not have to listen. You can choose, in this moment, to listen to something else, something older, something truer. Something that speaks not of your problems, but of the vast, silent peace that lies beneath them. But what of the thoughts that do not float so easily? What of the echoes that feel less like dry leaves on water and more like heavy stones in your hand? The ones that sink the moment you try to release them. The ones that speak not of what is past, but of what is yet to be done. The heavy, solid weight of responsibility. The mental lists that stretch into tomorrow and the day after. These are the burdens of the unfinished, and they require a different kind of surrender. The leaves of today's transient worries have been placed upon the river of sound, and some have floated away. But now you feel the other weights, the ones that do not float. These are the cold, heavy stones in the pit of your stomach. They are not the light, rustling echoes of what is past, but the dense, solid anchors of what is to come. The unfinished report. The difficult conversation you must have. The looming deadline. The financial uncertainty. The mind presents these not as memories, but as active files, glowing with a red light of urgency. The theater of the mind has now transformed into a command center, and you are the sole operator on the night shift, forbidden to rest until every potential crisis has been averted, every future scenario planned and counterplanned. This is the tyranny of the unfinished, the immense weight of a future that you are trying to carry on your own shoulders. Let us examine this weight. Let us look at it with curiosity, not with fear. What is it truly made of? At its core, this anxiety is born from a profound fear of losing control. The ego, that fragile construct of identity, has built its house on the unstable ground of competence, reliability, and success. An unfinished task is more than just a pending item on a list. It is a structural threat. It is a crack in the foundation of the self. It whispers of a future moment where you might be found lacking, where you might fail, where the world might see that you are not the perfect, capable being you pretend to be. And so the mind, in its role as the fortress architect, works tirelessly through the night. It believes that if it can just keep planning, keep strategizing, keep worrying, it can build walls high enough to keep out the terrifying chaos of life. It operates under the devastating illusion that your constant vigilance is the only thing holding the world together. This creates an excruciating inner conflict, a war between two fundamental truths of your being: the truth of the body, which is exhausted and knows its absolute need for rest and renewal. It sends you signals of deep fatigue, a physical ache for surrender. And the truth of the conditioned mind, which screams that surrender is synonymous with failure. If I let go, the mind insists, a critical detail will be forgotten, an opportunity will be missed, disaster will strike. Everything depends on me not resting. And so you lie in the dark, a battlefield. Your muscles ache to release, but your mind holds them hostage with a relentless stream of what-ifs. It feels like you are perpetually on call for a job you can never quit. This is not strength. This is not responsibility. It is a form of self-imprisonment, a gilded cage of conscientiousness. Let us now call upon the great metaphor. See your life, your path, as a long, winding hill that you must climb. During the day, it is your work to move forward, to make your way up the slope, but you have been convinced that you must also carry a giant, heavy boulder with you. This boulder is the combined weight of all your unfinished tasks, your responsibilities, and your worries about them. All day you struggle with it, but when night falls, instead of setting the boulder down to rest, you continue to strain against it in the darkness. You are not moving forward, you are simply exhausting your strength, pushing against its dead weight, convinced that this pointless, nocturnal struggle is noble. Your knuckles are white, your teeth are ground down, your energy bleeds into the uncaring night. The chant you are listening to, this sacred sound, is the voice of a wise friend who walks up to you in the darkness, places a gentle hand on your shoulder, and says, "You can put it down now. The boulder is not going to roll away. The hill is not going to disappear. They will both be here when the sun rises. But your strength will not be, if you spend it all in this futile nocturnal battle." To set the boulder down is an act of supreme wisdom. It is the recognition that the night is not for pushing, but for healing. It is for gathering the strength you will need for the morning's true journey. This is the true meaning of surrender. Our world has taught you that to surrender is to give up, to lose. This is a profound and damaging falsehood. Surrender is not abdication. It is the courageous act of accepting your own limits and placing your trust in a process larger than your own ego. It is the intelligence to distinguish between productive effort and destructive worry. You are a part of a vast, intelligent universe, a universe that unfolds in its own perfect rhythm. Your frantic all-night worrying does not help this unfolding. In fact, it hinders it, for it disconnects you from the very source of intuition, creativity, and strength you will need to face the coming day. To surrender is to say to the universe, "I have done what I can do today. I will do what I can do tomorrow. For this sacred period in between, I trust in the restorative power of stillness. I trust in you." Now, let us make this an act, not just an idea. We will perform a small, sacred ritual of transfer. Sometime before you fully release into sleep, perhaps now or just after this passage, I want you to find a piece of paper and a pen. In our modern world, the Notes app on a phone will suffice, but be disciplined. Do not allow yourself to be pulled into the digital vortex. This is a targeted mission. On this paper, you will write down the 3 most important things that weigh on your mind. Only 3. Not the entire endless list, just the 3 heaviest stones. Writing them down is a physical act of externalization. It is a signal to your frantic mind, the project manager, that its concerns have been heard, logged, and secured. You are signing its time card. You are telling it, "Your shift is over. I have this now." You are relieved of duty until the morning. Then, put the paper or the device away. Do not look at it again. The transfer is complete. The burden is no longer inside your skull. It is on that paper, waiting patiently for the sun. Feel the space that this creates, a subtle lightness in your mind. The command center has gone dark. The glowing screens have been powered down. The project manager has finally gone home. Now, there is only you and the gentle rolling waves of the chant. Now, the mind is no longer occupied with the future, and it has the freedom to be fully present with this sound. Let the rhythm of the chant become the new rhythm of your being. It is steady, it is reliable, it does not rush, it simply is. This is the rhythm of the universe you have just chosen to trust. Let it lull you into a state of acceptance. You have done enough for today. You are enough for today. All that is left to do is to be here, to breathe, and to receive the deep, healing peace of this moment. And so, you set down the heavy stone of tomorrow. You feel a lightness, a space you had forgotten was possible, a quiet permission to simply be. But in this newfound quiet, as the anxieties of the future recede, the mind sometimes drifts in another direction. It is no longer pulled forward, so it slips backward. In the silence where urgent to-do lists once shouted, a different kind of echo can emerge. This one comes not from the day just past, and not from the day yet to come, but from much, much deeper in the soil of your memory. The ghosts of yesterday, the indelible stains of regret, the heavy, fossilized weights of past mistakes, which no amount of future planning can ever erase. What do? when the heart is haunted not by what we must do, but by what we have already done. The weight of tomorrow has been set down, and in its place, a fragile quiet has begun to bloom. But the mind is a creature of habit, and when it is deprived of one worry, it often digs for another. In the stillness where the urgent lists once clamored, you may now begin to hear a deeper, more mournful sound. It is not the sharp, metallic clang of future anxieties, but the low, resonant hum of past regrets, the ghosts of yesterday. They rise not from your calendar, but from the very bedrock of your memory. A word spoken in anger that can never be unsaid, a moment of cowardice when courage was needed, an act of selfishness that left a mark on another's heart, an opportunity for love or growth that was missed because you were ruled by fear. These are not mere memories. They feel like permanent stains, indelible ink on the pages of your story. They are the wounds that time has not healed because you have never allowed it to. Let us be clear about the nature of this haunting. This constant, looping replay of your mistakes is a profound act of self-violence. It is a form of self-flagellation that the ego cleverly disguises as morality. The ego, in its perverse logic, believes that by punishing yourself, by endlessly reliving the shame and guilt, you are somehow paying a debt. It operates under the false premise that your suffering in the present can retroactively atone for the ignorance of the past. It whispers to you, you do not deserve to be peaceful. Remember what you did, remember who you were, and so you remain chained to a version of yourself that no longer exists, a ghost tethered to a gravestone. This self-punishment provides a strange, painful kind of identity. To be the one who made that terrible mistake is a solid, concrete role, and the ego would rather cling to a painful identity than dissolve into the uncertainty of forgiveness. And so the inner conflict rages. A part of you, the soul, the essence, yearns for liberation. It knows, on a deep intuitive level, that you are not the sum of your worst moments. It longs to live in the light and freedom of the present moment. But another part, the conditioned mind, the inner judge, holds you captive in a dark courtroom of your own making, forever rereading the evidence for the prosecution. You are both the prisoner and the jailer. Your desire for freedom wars with your addiction to guilt. It is an exhausting, soul-crushing stalemate, and it is the source of a deep and abiding sadness that colors everything you do. You cannot build a beautiful future while you are perpetually carrying the rubble of your past. Here, we must introduce a new metaphor. Think of your old wounds not as stains, but as scars. When you suffer an injury, the body, in its wisdom, begins the process of healing. If the wound is cared for, it closes, and eventually, a scar forms. The scar is a testament to the fact that you were wounded, but also to the fact that you healed. It is a part of your history, a map of your journey. It does not hurt anymore. It is simply new skin, strong and integrated. The problem of guilt and regret is this: it is the act of refusing to let the wound heal. It is the conscious or unconscious act of picking at the scab, of scratching the sensitive new skin until it bleeds again and again. You keep the wound fresh, infected, and exquisitely painful, believing that this pain is what you deserve. You refuse to let a scar form. The sacred chant you are hearing is not a magical eraser that can remove your history. It cannot make the original wound disappear, but it can be the soothing balm, the medicinal ointment that you finally allow yourself to apply. The steady, compassionate vibration of the sound creates an atmosphere of non-judgment. It is a pure frequency of acceptance. By immersing yourself in it, you are giving your inner wound the clean, safe, and loving environment it needs to finally close. The chant is the voice that whispers, "It is all right. You can stop scratching now. You can let it heal. You have suffered enough." This leads us to the most powerful, liberating truth you can ever embrace. The past does not exist. This is not a denial of what happened. The events were real. Their consequences were real. But in this present moment, As you lie here, the past exists only as a thought, a memory trace in your mind. It is a ghost. It has no life, no energy, no power of its own. It is an empty vessel. It only becomes a monster when you, in the present, choose to fill it with the powerful energy of your attention, your belief, and your emotion. You are the one who reanimates the ghost, night after night, and therefore, you are the one who can let it rest in peace. This is the ultimate reclamation of your power. To forgive yourself is to cut off the life support to the ghost of your past. The key to this reclamation is the practice of compassion, and it must begin with you. It is a radical act in a world that teaches us self-criticism. I invite you now to perform this gentle act of healing. Place a hand over the center of your chest. Feel the warmth of your own palm. Feel the faint, steady rhythm of your heart. This faithful muscle that has kept beating for you through every mistake, every triumph, every moment of your life. It has never judged you. It has only ever worked to keep you alive. Now, connect with that faithfulness. As the chant continues to wash over you, silently repeat these words in your own mind. At first, they may feel strange or even false. Your inner critic may laugh at them. That is perfectly fine. Your job is not to force a feeling. Your job is to plant a seed. The chant is the fertile soil, and these words are the seeds of your own liberation. Repeat them slowly. May I be free from inner harm. May I be safe. Breathe. Let the sound carry the words deeper. May I be happy. May I be well in body and in mind. Breathe. Feel the vibration of the chant and the warmth of your hand. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I forgive myself. May I be free. Do not analyze the words. Do not argue with them. Simply let them be there. Let the chant be the water and the sunlight for these seeds. You are tending to a part of yourself that has been starved of kindness for a very long time. You are offering a cup of cool water to the one in you who is thirstiest. You are applying the balm to the scar and choosing, finally, to let it heal. When a specific memory of a past mistake arises, do not push it away. See it. Acknowledge the pain it caused, to yourself and to others. And then, holding that memory in your awareness, wrap it in the energy of your intention. To the person I was then, who was acting from a place of ignorance, or fear, or pain, I offer compassion. I release you from the burden of my endless judgment. Be free. In releasing that old version of yourself, you release your present self. As the grip of the past begins to loosen, a fragile peace descends. The ghosts recede into the shadows, their voices fading from accusations into faint whispers. The courtroom in your mind grows quiet. But the mind, so accustomed to turmoil, can find this new peace unsettling. It can feel like a vacuum. In the space left by old regrets, a new shadow can begin to form. This one is not cast by the events of yesterday, but by the imagined specters of tomorrow. For if you are no longer defined by the person you were, the question arises with an unnerving intensity. Who are you about to become? And what if that future holds a pain all its own? The mind, having been freed from its backward gaze, now slingshots forward into the fog of the unknown. The chains of the past have been loosened. The heavy stones of tomorrow have been set down. A space has been created. But the mind, a restless creature of habit, abhors a vacuum. Into this newfound quiet, it launches its most phantasmal creation, the future. It slingshots from the graveyards of what has been to the misty, undefined territories of what might be. And it is here, in this realm of pure potential, that fear finds its most fertile ground. The what-ifs return, but they are no longer small and contained. They are vast and monstrous. What if I fail? What if I am abandoned? What if I get sick? What if those I love suffer? What if my world falls apart? This is the shadow of tomorrow, a dread that is born not from evidence, but from an imagination that has been weaponized against itself. Understand this fundamental truth. Fear of the future is a creative act gone terribly wrong. The same magnificent faculty of imagination that allows you to envision a better world, to compose a symphony, or to feel empathy for another, is now being used to construct detailed, multi-sensory horror films in your mind. And you are the star of every single one. You are living, breathing, and suffering through tragedies that have not happened. You are grieving losses that have not occurred. You are fighting battles that do not exist outside of your own skull. This is the grand illusion, the ultimate trick of a mind disconnected from reality. It creates a phantom and then convinces you that you are its victim. It is an act of self-torture performed under the guise of responsible preparation. But this is not preparation, it is poison. It is the contamination of the sacred, living present with the radioactive waste of a non-existent future. This gives rise to a particular kind of paralysis. It is the conflict between the soul's natural impulse towards hope and growth and the mind's crippling addiction to anxiety. You want to move forward, to take a risk, to build something new, but the mind projects 1,000 potential disasters onto your path. Every door you could open might have a monster behind it. Every step you could take might be onto a trap door. And so you remain frozen, standing at a crossroads, tormented by all the paths you are too afraid to take. You are not living in the present because you are obsessed with the future, and you are not creating a future because you are too paralyzed by fear to act in the present. You are trapped in the worst of all worlds, a state of suspended dread, where the vibrant energy of life drains away into the black hole of what might be. Let us now invoke a metaphor to guide us through this phantom landscape. The future is an impenetrable fog. Imagine you are standing at the edge of a vast valley, but it is completely filled with a thick, white mist. You cannot see the path. You cannot see the destination. You cannot see the dangers or the treasures that lie ahead. It is impossible. The anxious mind refuses to accept this impossibility. It stands at the edge, staring frantically into the fog, trying to will it away. It sends out probes of thought, trying to map the unseen terrain, but they report back with nothing but more uncertainty, which the mind interprets as danger. It is a futile, maddening, and utterly exhausting exercise. The practice of dissolving fear is the practice of turning your gaze away from the fog. It is the deep acceptance that you cannot, and do not need to, see the entire journey. Instead, you need only to find the ground beneath your own feet. The chant you are hearing, this sacred sound, is your lantern in the fog. It is not a searchlight powerful enough to burn away the entire mist. Its purpose is not to reveal the whole valley. Its purpose is much more humble and infinitely more useful. It is a small, steady lantern that you hold in your hand. It casts a warm, gentle glow right at your feet, illuminating just enough solid ground for you to take one single secure step. And as you take that one step, the lantern of presence moves with you, illuminating the patch of ground for the next step. This is all you have. This is all you need. This is the great secret. The entire journey is only ever made one step at a time. This brings us to the core principle for healing the future. Your power is not in the future. It is here. It is now. It is in this breath. You cannot do anything next Tuesday. You cannot feel anything last year. You can only be, breathe, think, and act in this solitary, eternal moment of now. Therefore, the only way to influence your future is to change the quality of your present. If you fill this present moment with fear, you are planting seeds of fear, and the future that grows from them will be a garden of anxiety. But if you can manage, even for a few breaths, to fill this present moment with peace, acceptance, and stillness, you are planting the seeds of peace. A good future is not something you plan for and then arrive at. A good future is the inevitable result of a series of well-lived, peaceful, present moments. You create your heaven or your hell, not in the future, but right now. To do this, we must learn to pull the mind back from its frantic time traveling We must ground it. And the most powerful anchor you have is your own body. Your body is always, unfailingly, in the present moment. It cannot worry about next month's bills. It simply is. So now, I invite you to perform this act of radical homecoming. Pull your awareness out of the imaginary fog of tomorrow and let it come crashing down into the undeniable reality of your physical self. Start with your feet. Can you feel them? At the far end of your bed, can you feel the touch of the blanket on them? Wiggle your toes. The sensation is happening now. Bring your awareness to your hands. Feel the texture of the cloth they are resting on. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. That is real. That is now. Feel the weight of your body pressing down into the mattress. Surrender to gravity. Gravity is not anxious about the future. It is a law of the present moment. Let it hold you. Now, bring your awareness to your breath. Feel the cool air entering your nostrils, a sensation that is happening only in this instant. Follow that breath as it fills your lungs, and feel the gentle expansion of your chest and abdomen. This gentle rhythm is the rhythm of life, happening now. The next breath is in the future. You cannot breathe it yet. The last breath is in the past. It is gone forever. There is only this breath. Anchor yourself to it. The chant aids this process perfectly. The sound is not happening in the past or the future. You are hearing its vibration in this exact moment. Let the physical sensations of your body and the auditory sensations of the chant merge into a single powerful anchor in the heart of the now. When the mind tries to drift back into the fog, gently, without judgment, guide it back to the feeling of your breath, the weight of your body, the sound of the chant. The mind may protest. It may say, "This is irresponsible. We need to plan." Calmly, lovingly, remind it that planning is a conscious act, done with a clear head, during the light of day. What it is doing now is not planning. It is worrying, a destructive, unconscious loop that solves nothing and only serves to drain the very life force you will need to meet the future when it finally arrives. So you have brought your awareness home, away from the ghosts of the past, away from the phantoms of the future. It rests here, now, in the temple of your body, anchored by your breath and held by the sacred sound. The cacophony of mental noise, the frantic shouting about yesterday and tomorrow, begins to subside, and in its place, a new landscape reveals itself. Silence. But what is this silence? Is it merely the absence of thought, an empty void to be feared? Or is it something more? Is it a presence in itself, a fullness to be explored? We have confronted the storms. Now, let us turn our attention to the sky itself. You have walked back from the precipice of tomorrow and turned away from the ghosts of yesterday. You have set down your burdens and brought your awareness home to the solid, tangible reality of your body in this present moment. The frantic noise of the mind, the relentless inner chatter, begins to subside. And in its place, something else emerges. Silence. For the modern mind, this silence can be more terrifying than any noise. It can feel like a sudden void, a sensory deprivation that triggers a deep primal alarm. We are a civilization addicted to noise. We have been conditioned to believe that silence is empty, a sign that something is wrong, a dead space to be filled as quickly as possible with music, with podcasts, with conversation, with the endless scroll of information. We fear that if we are left alone in true quiet, our inner demons will come out to haunt us. And in a way, the mind is right to be afraid, for in the silence, there is nowhere left to hide. The carefully constructed personality, the busy, important self that thrives on distraction and drama, cannot survive in the stillness. When the noise stops, we are forced to confront what lies beneath it, the unresolved sadness, the gnawing existential questions, the deep and restless longing of the soul. Our fear of silence is not a fear of nothingness. It is a fear of meeting ourselves. It is a fear of the vast, untamed wilderness within. And so we have become compulsive fillers of space, desperate to avoid that sacred, terrifying encounter. The instant there is quiet, the hand twitches for the phone, the mind scrambles for a new worry, anything to create a sound that will drown out the profound, challenging whisper of our own inner truth. This creates a painful conflict. The soul, your essence, craves silence like a desert wanderer craves water. It knows that in the stillness, true rest, deep healing, and genuine insight are found. But the ego, the conditioned self, is a creature of habit, and its primary habit is noise. It fights against the very peace it claims to want. Tonight, we will not fight back. We will not try to force the mind into a state of submission. We will simply change our perspective. We will learn that the silence we have been running from is, in fact, the home we have been seeking. Let us use a metaphor to illuminate this. Imagine you are standing outside on a clear night, looking up at the sky. Your entire life, you have been taught to focus on the stars. You identify them, you name their constellations, you trace the stories that connect them. The stars are the thoughts, the sounds, the feelings, the events of your life. They are the bright, captivating points of drama. And in your obsessive focus on these points of light, you have completely overlooked the most magnificent part of the spectacle, the sky itself. The vast, infinite, mysterious, deep blackness that holds all the stars. This blackness is not an absence of stars. It is the very condition for their appearance. Without the dark canvas of the sky, no star could ever shine. That sky is the silence. Silence is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of awareness. It is the infinite context in which all sound and all thought arises and passes away. It is the uncarved block that holds the potential for all form. It is the space between the notes that gives music its power and its beauty. It is the womb of all creation. When you touch this silence, you are not touching an emptiness. You are touching the source. You are connecting with the field of pure potentiality from which everything in the universe is born. To fear this silence is to fear the very essence of your own being. The chant you are listening to is a tool to help you perceive this silence. It might seem like a paradoxing sound to find silence, but think again of the night sky. The chant is like the moon. The moon does not eliminate the darkness. It illuminates it. It makes the vast, profound blackness visible. Its gentle light draws your attention to the beauty of the space that surrounds it. In the same way, the chant does not destroy the silence in your mind. It makes the silence tangible. It gives your awareness something to contrast the silence against, allowing you to finally perceive the background for what it is, a vast, living presence. So how do we practice this? The idea of silencing the mind is a heroic and often impossible task. It creates a battle, a struggle between you and your thoughts. We will not take this approach. We will use a more subtle, more elegant method. We will become connoisseurs of the pause. Instead of trying to eliminate the sounds and thoughts, we will focus our attention with laser-like precision on the gaps between them. Listen now with a new kind of intention. Do not just listen to the words or the notes of the chant. Listen to what comes just before and just after. Listen for the moment of absolute stillness between the end of one phrase and the beginning of the next. It may be only a fraction of a second long. It is a tiny, almost imperceptible portal. But in that tiny portal, the entire universe of silence is waiting for you. Do not try to hold on to it. Do not try to extend it. Just notice it. Dive into that microsecond of stillness. It is a crack in the facade of reality through which you can glimpse the infinite. When a thought arises, do not fight it. Let it be a star. And then, notice the vast sky of silence that surrounds it. Your attention is the key. What you place your attention on grows. If you place it on the thoughts, the inner noise grows. If you place it on the silence between the thoughts, the inner peace grows. As you practice this, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to develop a different relationship with your own mind. Thoughts are no longer tyrants that command your every move. You begin to see them for what they are. fleeting, impersonal events in consciousness. They are clouds passing through the vast sky of your awareness. You are the sky, not the cloud. This realization is the beginning of true freedom. The thoughts can be stormy, they can be dark, but they can no longer harm the sky. The sky remains untouched, serene, and spacious. Rest in this spaciousness. Feel the quality of this silence. It is not a dead, empty silence. It is pregnant. It is alive. It is a vibrant stillness. You may begin to hear subtler things within it, the faint, low hum of the electricity in your walls, the distant sound of a car passing. You may hear the sound of your own blood in your ears, a faint, high-pitched ringing that some mystical traditions call the nada, the unstruck sound, the whisper of the cosmos itself. You are not going deaf. You are beginning to truly hear. You are hearing the sound of life itself, stripped of all its stories and all its drama. As you sink into this silence, you connect with a peace that is not conditional. It does not depend on your life going well. It does not depend on people liking you. It is the fundamental peace of being itself. It is the peace of the deep ocean, which is not disturbed by the waves on the surface. And as you rest in this deep, aware silence, you begin to notice a rhythm, a gentle, steady, effortless pulse that has been with you every moment of your life, from your first breath to this very one. A tide rising and falling within the vast, silent ocean of your own being. It is the soundless sound of your own life force. It is the breath. It is the most primal chant of all, the first and last song. Let us now turn our attention from the silent, spacious sky to the cosmic rhythm that animates it. You are resting now in the vast, silent field of your own awareness. The frantic storms of thought have passed, and you have discovered that this silence is not an emptiness, but a living, conscious presence. It is the sky of your being. And as you rest as the sky, you begin to perceive a gentle cosmic weather pattern that has been there all along. A tide, a slow, steady, effortless rising and falling. It is the rhythm of your own breath. It is the first and most fundamental movement of life within the stillness. It is not a disturbance to the silence. It is the very pulse of the silence, the proof that it is alive. For too long, you have taken this pulse for granted, this constant, faithful companion that has been with you from your first cry to this very moment. Tonight, we will meet it as if for the first time. Let us first understand the profound power we so often ignore. Your breath is the master controller of your nervous system. It is the physical interface between your conscious mind and the deep, ancient, automatic functions of your body. When you are anxious, when you are caught in the grip of fear or anger, observe your breath. It becomes shallow, rapid, tight. It moves high up in the chest. This is the breath of alarm, the breath of fight or flight. It sends a powerful chemical signal to every cell in your body that you are in danger. This creates a vicious cycle. The stressful thought creates the shallow breath, and the shallow breath confirms to the body that the stressful thought is true, leading to more stressful thoughts. But this street runs both ways. This is the secret. By consciously taking control of your breath, you can hack this entire system. When you deliberately slow your breathing down, when you draw it deep into your belly, you are sending a clear, undeniable message back to your brain's most primitive centers. You are telling them, all is well. You are safe. The threat is an illusion. You can stand down. This is not positive thinking. This is biology. It is a direct physical command to your own being to enter a state of peace. Yet, as simple as this sounds, the mind finds it excruciatingly difficult. The ego, the restless problem solver, finds the breath profoundly boring. It wants drama. It wants complexity. It wants something to analyze and control. To simply watch the breath feels like a waste of time. And so you will have this experience. You will resolve to follow one full inhalation and one full exhalation. But by the time your lungs are half empty, your mind has already jumped on a train of thought. and is halfway across the country, planning a meeting, replaying an argument, or worrying about a bill. This is the central struggle, the great game of inner work. The conflict is between your desire for peace and your mind's addiction to movement. But here is the key. The point of the game is not to win by forcing the mind to be still. The point is to practice the art of gentle return. Each time you notice your mind has wandered, you have not failed. You have succeeded. You have woken up from the dream of thought. And in that moment of waking, you gently, lovingly, without any scolding, guide your attention back to the breath. This act of returning, over and over with infinite patience, is the practice itself. Now, let us deepen our understanding with a new metaphor. You have been taught to think of my breath as if it is a possession that you own and create. Let this idea dissolve. Imagine that the entire universe is a single vast ocean of air, of energy, of spirit. This ocean is in constant rhythmic motion. It is the breath of the cosmos. Your breathing is not something you do so much as something you participate in. With every inhalation, you are drawing in a wave from this infinite cosmic ocean. The air that fills your lungs was, just a moment ago, the world. It was in the leaves of a tree. It was part of a cloud. It was in the breath of another being. With every exhalation, you release that wave back into the great ocean, where it will go on to give life to others. You are not a separate entity fighting for air. You are a temporary vessel through which the universe is breathing itself. To realize this is to dissolve the illusion of separation. It is to understand your profound, unbreakable connection to all of life. Your practice, then, is to stop being a seawall bracing against the tide. Your practice is to become a surfer, to feel the wave of the inhale as it approaches, to ride its crest, and to glide gracefully on the exhale as it returns to the source. You are riding the rhythm of the universe. The breath is the ultimate bridge. It is the link between the conscious and unconscious mind. It is the link between your mind and your body. A thought changes the breath, and the breath changes the thought. It is the living bridge between your inner world and the outer world, a constant, intimate exchange. Most profoundly, it is the bridge between the formless and form. Your awareness, the silent sky you discovered, is formless. Your body is form. The breath is the energetic connection that animates the form with the formless. To be anchored in your breath is to stand perfectly poised on this magical bridge, with one foot in the world of spirit and one foot in the world of matter. It is the place of perfect balance. Now, we will unify our anchors. We will weave together the sacred sound of the chant with the sacred rhythm of your breath. We will give the restless mind a beautiful, compelling dance to focus on. As you continue to listen to the chant, let it become the conductor of your breathing. Let us begin. As the next phrase of the sound begins, start your inhalation. Breathe in slowly, gently, through your nose. Do not force it or strain. Simply allow the sound to draw the breath into you. Imagine you are inhaling the sound itself, letting its healing vibration fill your lungs and your belly. Follow the sound with your breath until the phrase is complete. Then, as the phrase comes to its end, allow your exhalation to begin. Release the breath just as slowly and gently, perhaps through your mouth with a soft, silent sigh. Let the exhale be an act of complete surrender. With it, release your tension, release your worry, release your need to control. Let your body grow heavy, soft, and sink deeper into the support beneath you. Your breath and the chant are now one. They are partners in a sacred dance. Inhale with the sound, exhale with the silence that follows. Rising wave, falling wave. The rhythm is steady, predictable, safe. Give your entire being over to this simple, profound cadence. You do not need to think. You only need to breathe with the sound. With each conscious inhale, know that you are drawing in not just oxygen, but prana, chi, the life force of the universe. Visualize it as a golden liquid light pouring into you, nourishing every cell, clearing away any energetic debris, and restoring you to your natural state of vitality. With each slow, long exhale, know that you are releasing everything that no longer serves you. Breathe out the fatigue. Breathe out the sadness. Breathe out the fear. You are purifying your entire system with every cycle. The inhale is nourishment. The exhale is cleansing. It is the most perfect, self-regulating, healing system imaginable, and you have access to it at every moment. And as you ride this unified wave of breath and sound, as you sink deeper and deeper into this trance of tranquility, you begin to notice something more. It is not just the rhythm of the chant that soothes you, but the very texture of the sound itself, a quality within the notes, a resonance that seems to hum not just in your ears, but in the very bones of your body, in the water of your cells. It is a feeling as much as a sound. We have explored the silence that holds the sound, and the rhythm that paces the sound. Now, let us delve into the substance of the sound itself, the sacred science of its vibration. You are riding the unified wave of breath and sound, a gentle, rhythmic tide carrying you further and further from the shores of your waking concerns. As you settle into this flow, a new layer of the experience reveals itself. It is not just the rhythm that is healing you, but the very substance of the sound itself. A quality within the tone, a resonance, a frequency that seems to bypass the analytical mind and speak directly to the cells of your body. We have explored the silence that holds the sound, and the rhythm that paces the sound. Now, we must delve into the sacred science of the sound itself, the profound power of vibration. Ancient mystics and quantum physicists, separated by thousands of years, have arrived at the same astonishing conclusion. The universe, at its most fundamental level, is not solid. It is vibration. Everything you perceive as solid, your body, the bed you are lying on, the very walls of your room, is actually a dense field of energy vibrating at a specific frequency. And this is not limited to physical objects. Your thoughts and your emotions are also vibrations. The state of fear has a tangible frequency, is typically jarring, erratic, and dissonant. The state of love or deep peace has a frequency, is harmonious, coherent, and expansive. The condition of modern burnout is, from this perspective, a state of prolonged vibrational dissonance. Your personal energy field is constantly being bombarded by chaotic, stressful frequencies from digital screens, from alarming news, from the anxieties of others, and from your own worried thoughts. Your system has been knocked out of its natural, harmonious state. It has forgotten its own native song. A part of your mind, the logical, conditioned self, may find these ideas abstract or metaphorical. It may demand empirical proof. But there is another part of you, a deeper, more ancient wisdom that resides in your body, that knows this to be true because it has felt it. You have experienced this truth directly. You have walked into a room just after a bitter argument and felt the tense, unpleasant energy that lingered in the air, a palpable static of anger. You have stood in an ancient forest or a quiet, sunlit cathedral and felt a wave of peace wash over you, a tangible frequency of tranquility that calmed your mind before it even had a chance to form a thought. This is your intuitive knowing. This is your body telling you that it is a sensitive receiver, constantly interpreting the vibrational information of its environment. Tonight, we consciously choose the information we receive. Let us use a simple, powerful metaphor. Imagine that your entire being, your physical body, your emotional heart, your mental space is a beautiful, finely crafted musical instrument. Perhaps it is a cello or a violin. When you came into this world, this instrument was perfectly tuned, capable of playing the most exquisite music of joy, love, and peace. But life, with its stresses, its disappointments, its traumas, has treated this instrument roughly. It has been left out in the rain, knocked against sharp corners. Fear has tightened some strings until they are shrill and ready to snap. Sadness has loosened other strings until they produce only a dull, lifeless thud. The result is that your instrument is now out of tune. When you try to play the music of your life, it sounds discordant, chaotic, and painful. This is the inner state of anxiety and unrest. Now, consider the sacred chant you are hearing. This is not just random music. It is a sonic tool, refined over countless generations, specifically designed to act as a universal tuning fork. It has been engineered to hold one pure, perfect, unwavering frequency. The frequency of compassion, of stillness, of universal harmony. The principle by which it works is one of the most beautiful laws of physics, the law of sympathetic resonance. If you have two stringed instruments in a room and you pluck a C string on one, the C string on the other instrument across the room will begin to vibrate softly on its own without being touched. It wants to be in harmony with its counterpart. It naturally attunes itself to the dominant, coherent frequency in its environment. Your being is that second instrument. You do not need to force yourself to be peaceful. You do not need to struggle to feel compassionate. You simply need to place your instrument in the presence of the tuning fork. The chant is the tuning fork. By immersing yourself in its coherent, harmonious field, the discordant strings of your own being begin to gently, effortlessly vibrate in sympathy. The string of fear, vibrating at its chaotic frequency, feels the powerful, steady vibration of peace nearby and begins to slow down, to match the calmer resonance. The string of sadness, slack and lifeless, feels the vibrant energy of the sound and begins to tighten, to find its own note again. You are being retuned, not by force, but by invitation. You are remembering the music you were born to play. Let us now turn this from a metaphor into a felt experience. It is time to stop listening to this chant with only your ears. Your ears are merely the first gateway. It is time to listen with your entire body. I invite you now to shift your awareness. Imagine that the sound waves from the chant are not stopping at your eardrums. See them as visible, gentle ripples of light, like those on the surface of a perfectly still pond. Now, imagine these waves of sound moving directly through your physical form. They pass through your skin, through your muscles, through your bones, meeting no resistance. Feel these subtle sonic vibrations washing through the areas of your body that hold tension. Let the sound waves move through your tight jaw, your constricted shoulders, your anxious belly. Imagine the vibrations are like a microscopic massage, shaking loose the stored, frozen energy of stress and fear. Let the chant's resonance vibrate away the cellular memories of old pains and anxieties. Now, bring your awareness to the water in your body. Your body is over 70% water, and water is a magnificent conductor of frequency. Just as sound can organize grains of sand into beautiful, intricate geometric patterns, imagine these sacred vibrations bringing a new level of harmony, order, and coherence to the very water that gives you life. Every cell is being bathed and recalibrated in a tide of healing sound. You may begin to feel a subtle hum or a gentle tingling in your chest, your hands, or your head. This is your body responding. This is the instrument beginning to vibrate in sympathy with the tuning fork. It is coming alive. This sound is not merely a collection of notes. It is imbued with the intention of all those who have chanted it throughout the centuries. It is a carrier wave for peace, for compassion, for awakening. When you listen, you are not just hearing a sound. You are aligning your own energy field with this vast collective field of enlightened intention. You are joining a choir that spans millennia. Surrender to this process. You do not have to do anything. You do not have to achieve anything. Your only task is to be still and to allow the sound to do its work. Trust its ancient wisdom. Allow yourself to be effortlessly retuned. And so, the instrument of your being is returned to harmony. The chaotic dissonance fades, replaced by a clear, sweet, resonant note of peace. A profound quiet, full of vibrant energy, settles within you. But in this newfound clarity, in this stillness, a new and even deeper question can arise. If you are the instrument, then who is the musician? If this sense of self with its anxieties and its history has been so easily influenced, soothed, and retuned by an external sound, then how solid, how real can that self truly be? We have spent this time carefully, lovingly polishing the mirror of the self. Now, let us be brave enough to look into it, and perhaps see right through it, to the vast ocean of pure consciousness that lies just beyond its reflection. The instrument of your being is now in tune. Its strings resonate with a quiet, harmonious hum. The storm of thought has quieted, the sea of emotion has calmed. You are floating in a state of clear, clean peace. But now, in this clarity, we must ask the most fundamental question of all. Who is this you that has been feeling, thinking, and suffering? Who is this self that we have worked so carefully to soothe and heal? For the final stage of this journey is not to perfect the self, but to see through it. We have polished the mirror. Now, we must gather the courage to look beyond its reflection. What is this thing you call I? You say the word 1,000 times a day, but what does it point to? Is it your name? Your name was given to you by others. It is a label, a convenient sound, not your essence. Is it your body? Your body is a magnificent, ever-changing colony of cells, constantly renewing itself. It is something you have, not something you are. You say, my hand, my heart, not I am hand. So who is the owner? Is it your profession, your role as a parent, a child, a friend? These are functions you perform, costumes you wear, but they change with time and circumstance. They are not the real you. Is it your memories, your history? Your memory is a fragmented, edited, and often unreliable storyteller. It is a narrative you have constructed about the past, not the living truth of your being. So what is left? If you are not your name, not your body, not your roles, and not your stories, who are you? The I that you so fiercely protect is a mental construct. It is a bundle of thoughts, memories, beliefs, and sensations tied together by the thin, fragile thread of continuous thinking. It has no solid, independent existence. It is a ghost created by your own mind. And the root cause of all human suffering, without exception, is mistaking this temporary, phantom self for who you truly are. We spend our lives trying to protect, defend, and enhance this ghost, a task that is doomed to failure and is the source of all our anxiety, all our fear, all our conflict. To hear this can be deeply unsettling. The ego, this constructed self, hearing of its own illusory nature, will panic. For the ego, dissolution means death. It means annihilation, a terrifying black void of nothingness. And so, it will fight for its survival. It will flood you with thoughts, with fears, with doubts. It will tell you this is dangerous, nihilistic nonsense. You must feel this fear with compassion. It is the natural terror of a shadow realizing it is about to be exposed to the light. But there is another part of you, your deeper essence, your soul, that hears this news with a profound sense of relief. It is the sound of prison doors unlocking. For this part of you knows that the dissolution of the false self is not an end, but the beginning of true life. It is not a contraction into nothingness, but an expansion into everything. Let us explore this with a timeless story. Imagine a doll carved with exquisite detail from a single large crystal of rock salt. This salt doll has a clear identity. It has a head, arms, legs. It has a solid sense of its own separate self. One day, the salt doll hears of the vast, mysterious ocean and becomes determined to measure its depth. So, the salt doll, proud of its solid form, walks down to the water's edge and takes its first step into the sea. A strange thing happens. It feels its feet begin to tingle and dissolve. It takes another step, and its legs begin to melt away. The doll is terrified. I am disappearing, it thinks. I am being destroyed. But it continues its mission, walking deeper and deeper. As it dissolves, something miraculous occurs. For the first time, it begins to truly understand the nature of the ocean. It understands its saltiness, its temperature, its currents, not as an outside observer, but from the inside. Finally, at the moment the last grain of its head dissolves, the doll has a final, stunning realization. I am the ocean. The limited self was gone, but its true essence, the saltiness, was now one with the entirety of the vast sea. It had become the very thing it sought to measure. This is the great secret. You are not the salt doll. You are the ocean. Your ego, your personality, is the temporary, solidified form. To let it dissolve is not to die. It is to return home to your true, boundless nature. As the poet Rumi said, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." The chant you are hearing is a powerful catalyst for this process, because it is an impersonal sound. It has no ego. It does not belong to you or to anyone. It is a vibration of the whole, a song of the ocean itself. By merging your awareness with it, you are allowing your own small, solidified sense of self to dissolve back into the whole. Now, let us turn this from a story into a practice. This is the great undoing. As you continue to lie here, held by the sound, consciously begin to let go of the pieces of your constructed self. First, let go of your name. It is just a label. In your mind, release it. Let it float away and dissolve into the sound. For the next few moments, you are nameless. Now let go of your roles, your identity as a worker, a parent, a child, a friend. These are just costumes. Gently take them off and let them fall away. You are without a role. Let go of your history, all your successes which feed your pride, all your failures which feed your shame. They are stories from a book that is already written. Close the book. Let it dissolve into the sound. You are without a past. Let go of your future, all your hopes, all your plans, all your fears. These are just projections, phantoms of the mind. Release them all. You are without a future. What is left? When you are not your name, not your roles, not your past, and not your future, who are you? Do not try to answer this with a word or a concept. Simply rest in the experience of what remains. What remains is pure awareness, a silent, vast, listening presence. You are not the listener. You are the listening itself. You are the consciousness in which the sound, the breath, and the sensations of the body are appearing. Rest here. This is your true nature. This is the sky, not the clouds. This is the ocean, not the wave. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. There is only this vast, peaceful, intelligent field of being. Do not be afraid. When you awaken in the morning, the salt doll of your ego will have reformed. You will need it to navigate your day, to talk to people, to do your job. The purpose of this practice is not to destroy the ego, but to loosen its tyrannical grip. It is to help you realize that the ego is a tool, not your master. By visiting this boundless space of pure awareness each night, you begin to carry its peace and spaciousness into your waking hours. You become less reactive, less fearful, more present. You are no longer a prisoner in the small cell of your personality. And here, in this boundless ocean of being, a profound paradox is born. Having dissolved the separate self, you might think that all reason for kindness and love would disappear. But the opposite is true. This is the birthplace of true compassion. Compassion that comes from the ego is always based on separation. It is a form of pity, a feeling of, I, the separate, fortunate one, feel sorry for you, the separate, unfortunate one. But compassion born from the experience of oneness is an act of deep recognition. When you see suffering in another, you no longer see a separate other. You feel the vibration of that suffering within the one shared field of consciousness. Their pain is a dissonance in the one song you are both part of. To help them is to bring harmony to your shared being. To love them is an act of self-love at the highest level. This is not an emotion. It is a fundamental expression of unity, and it begins with the seed of compassion for the very form you inhabit. You have touched the boundless ocean of pure awareness. You have experienced, for a moment, a reality beyond the confines of your small, separate self. From that vast, impersonal space, we now return our focus to the shore, to the single, precious vessel of this body and this mind that you inhabit. Having realized that you are the ocean, the first and most logical act of that oceanic love is to tend to the single wave that you call I. For if all is one, then this self, with all its flaws and all its struggles, is also divine. It is also worthy of the same unconditional love that holds the stars in place. This is the beginning of compassion, and it must begin here, with you. For most of us, this is the most difficult step. We are our own harshest critics, our own most relentless tormentors. There is a voice inside, an inner critic, that is a master of its cruel craft. It knows your deepest insecurities, and it whispers them to you in the dead of night. It keeps a detailed ledger of all your past mistakes and reads them aloud when you are at your most vulnerable. It compares you unfavorably to others. It tells you that you are not smart enough, not attractive enough, not good enough. This voice is not you. It is a conditioned pattern, a ghost made from the collected criticisms of parents, teachers, and a society that profits from your insecurity. It masquerades as a tough coach, believing its harshness will motivate you to be better. But it is a liar. It does not motivate. It paralyzes. It does not build. It demolishes. It thrives on shame and fear, and nothing beautiful can ever grow in that toxic soil. And so we live in a state of profound and tragic conflict. We walk through the world with our hearts outstretched, begging for scraps of love and validation from others. We ache for someone to see us, to accept us, to tell us that we are worthy. Yet, we relentlessly deny this acceptance to ourselves. We are like a person dying of thirst who is standing waist-deep in a crystal-clear river, lamenting that they have no cup. You do not need a cup. You only need to lower your head and drink. You do not need another person's permission to be worthy of love. You only need to stop withholding it from yourself. Self-compassion is the act of finally lowering your head to the river of your own being and taking that first, life-giving drink. Let us think of your heart as a garden. For many years, this garden has been neglected. The soil has been trampled hard and packed down by the heavy boots of self-judgment. It has been starved of sunlight, blocked by the thick clouds of doubt. It has been poisoned by the acid rain of negative self-talk. The ground is dry, cracked, and appears utterly barren. This is the state of a heart that lacks self-compassion. It seems impossible that anything could ever grow there. To practice self-compassion is not to bulldoze the garden and start over. It is a much gentler process. It is the act of allowing the first, soft spring rain to begin to fall. It does not come as a flood. It comes as a gentle, persistent drizzle that begins to ever so slowly soften the hard, compacted earth. The sacred chant you are hearing is the sound of this rain falling, and the words of kindness you will offer yourself are the precious, resilient seeds that we will now plant in this newly moistened soil. It is crucial to understand what this compassion is and what it is not. Your inner critic will tell you that self-compassion is a form of weakness, a selfish indulgence, a way of letting yourself off the hook. This is another lie. Self-compassion is not self-pity. Self-pity isolates you in a story of poor me. Self-compassion connects you to the shared human condition, the universal truth that all beings suffer and all beings are imperfect. It is a recognition of your own humanity. It is not about making excuses for your mistakes. It is about understanding that mistakes are a part of learning, and then treating yourself with the same encouragement and support you would offer a dear friend who had stumbled. It is the practice of becoming your own ally instead of your own enemy. This supportive inner environment is the only ground from which genuine, lasting growth can ever emerge. It fosters resilience, not weakness. It builds courage, not arrogance. Now, let us begin the sacred work of tending to this inner garden. Once more, I invite you to place your hand over your heart, Do not just let it rest there. Feel it. Feel the comforting weight of your hand. Feel the gentle warmth that passes from your palm into your chest. This is a point of connection. This is an act of loving kindness in itself. Now, in your mind's eye, bring forth an image of yourself. Perhaps you see the version of you that is struggling right now. Or perhaps you can conjure an image of yourself as a small, vulnerable child, innocent and deserving of unconditional love. Hold this image of yourself in your heart. Now, let the healing vibration of the chant you are hearing become a channel. Imagine the pure, peaceful sound flowing into your ears, down through your neck and shoulders, down your arm, and concentrating into a warm, glowing energy in the palm of your hand. You are actively channeling the impersonal, unconditional, loving vibration of the chant directly into your own heart space, into the very soil of your garden. Let this energy soften you. Into this warmed, vibrating soil, we will now plant the seeds. As you continue to feel the warmth and hear the sound, silently repeat these ancient phrases of Metta, or loving kindness, directing them entirely toward yourself. Say them gently, like a lullaby. There is no need to force any feeling. The intention is enough. The sincerity is the rain. Let the first seed be safety. May I be safe. May I be protected from all inner and outer harm. Let the next seed be happiness. May I be happy. May I know the joy of my own true nature. Let the next seed be health. May I be healthy. May I be well in my body, my mind, and my heart. And let the final, most important seed be ease. May I live my life with ease. May I forgive myself for not being perfect. May I accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. Breathe with these phrases. Inhale the loving intention. Exhale the years of self-rejection. If you feel resistance, if your mind tells you that you don't deserve this, simply notice that as the voice of the inner critic, the trampling boots on the soil, do not fight it. Just let the gentle rain of your intention continue to fall. If you feel numbness, that is okay too. The ground has been hard and dry for a very long time. It will take time for the rain to soak in. The practice is not in the feeling, but in the faithful, gentle repetition. You are reversing a lifetime of conditioning. Be patient. Be kind. As you continue to water this inner garden with your gentle attention and the rain of this sacred sound, something miraculous will eventually happen. It may not be tonight or tomorrow, but it will happen. A single, tiny green sprout will push its way through the softened earth. This sprout is the beginning of genuine self-love. At first, it is fragile and precious, something to be protected and nurtured. But as you continue to tend to it, as you continue to offer yourself this kindness, it will grow stronger. Its roots will deepen into the soil of your being, and its stem will reach for the sun of your awareness. And soon, it will feel so full of its own life force, so vibrant and nourished, that it can no longer contain its love. It will feel the natural, joyful, and inevitable impulse to unfurl its petals and share its beauty, its fragrance, its essence, with the world around you. The garden of your heart has been watered. The hard, dry soil of self-criticism has been softened by the gentle rain of your own kindness. And in that soil, a single, precious seed has sprouted. It is the tender, green shoot of self-compassion. For a time, your work was to nurture this single sprout, to protect its fragility, to give it the warmth and light it needed to grow strong. But life never hoards itself. The nature of all living things is to expand, to grow, to share their essence. A sprout that has taken root and feels the sun's nourishment does not decide to remain a sprout. It has a natural, joyful, and irrepressible urge to reach upward, to unfurl its leaves, to blossom. The love you have cultivated for yourself cannot be contained. It is now beginning to well up, to overflow the banks of your own being, seeking to touch the world around you. This expansion is the most natural thing in the universe, yet for many of us, it is where we get stuck. We have built walls around our gardens. We have been taught that vulnerability is weakness, that to love freely is to invite pain. So we construct elaborate defenses. There is the wall of judgment, where we find fault in others to keep them at a safe distance, to feel superior or more secure in our own position. There is the wall of fear, the fear of being rejected, misunderstood, or hurt again, which causes us to hide our true feelings and keep our hearts in lockdown. And there is the wall of indifference, the cool facade of pretending not to care, a desperate attempt to protect ourselves from the pain of disconnection. We live like lonely kings in these self-made fortresses, peering out at the world through narrow slits, longing for the very connection that we are actively preventing. The inner conflict is between the soul's boundless nature and the ego's mortal fear. Your soul, which knows its connection to the ocean of being, yearns to merge, to love, to dissolve the boundaries. But your ego, the fortress guard, shouts warnings from the parapets. Stay back. It's not safe out there. Remember how you were hurt last time? This is the battle between the expansive impulse of love and the contractive impulse of fear. Tonight, we do not fight the guard. We simply open the gate from the inside, letting a gentle light spill out, showing the guard that there is nothing to fear. Here, our metaphor shifts from the garden to the single flower that grows within it. Imagine your heart is a magnificent lotus. For a long time, it has been a tightly closed bud, its petals sealed shut to protect the tender core. The work of self-compassion was the act of nourishing this bud from its own roots, gathering strength from within. Now, feeling the warmth of its own inner sun, it is ready to open. This opening is not a violent or effortful act. The lotus does not strain to unfurl itself. The blossoming is a gentle, graceful, and inevitable expression of the life force that has become too full, too vibrant to be contained. The first petal opens, and with it, you allow the fragrance of your love to touch the one who is easiest to love. A beloved partner, a cherished child, a parent, a dear friend, a mentor who showed you kindness. This is the first, most natural extension of your heart. Then, as the life force continues to well up, another petal opens, and another. Your circle of compassion expands to include other friends, extended family, even pets. Soon, more petals unfold, offering their beauty to those you feel neutral about: the cashier at the grocery store, the mail carrier, the faces you pass on the street. Finally, the lotus is in full bloom, its heart completely open, radiating its essence in all directions, without discrimination. It offers its beauty to the bee that drinks its nectar, and to the person who will cut its stem. It does not choose, it does not withhold. It simply is its own beautiful, open, radiant nature. This is the nature of a truly compassionate heart. This blossoming is possible only when you shift your understanding of love itself. We have been taught that love is a finite resource, a transaction. The ego operates from a mindset of scarcity. It believes you have a limited amount of energy and love, and if you give too much away, you will be left depleted and empty. But this is the logic of a closed system. The heart that has learned self-compassion operates under a different law, the law of abundance. When your own cup is full, love is not a depletion, it is an overflow. You are not a small reservoir that can be drained, you are a fountain connected to an infinite underground spring. The more you give, the more flows through you. It is effortless, joyous, and limitless. Let us now engage in the practice of opening the lotus, petal by petal. First, return to your center. Feel that warm, compassionate space you have cultivated for yourself. Fill your own cup until it is overflowing with acceptance and peace. Now, from this place of fullness, let the first petal unfold. Bring to your mind's eye the image of a benefactor, someone who has been genuinely kind to you, someone easy to love. Hold their image in your heart, see them smiling, and as you listen to the steady, loving vibration of the chant, direct its energy toward them. Silently, extend the phrases, "May you be safe," "May you be happy," May you be healthy. May you live with ease. Feel the genuine wish for their well-being flowing from your heart to theirs. There is no effort here, only a joyful sharing. Now, let another petal open. Bring to mind a neutral person, someone you neither like nor dislike, perhaps a neighbor you see but don't know, or a coworker from another department. Picture their face. See them not as a role, but as a human being, just like you. A person who has their own fears, their own hopes, their own desire to be happy and to avoid suffering. This step is incredibly powerful. It stretches the muscle of your compassion beyond the easy confines of personal preference. It trains you to see the shared humanity in everyone. Now, extend the same light, the same chant, the same sincere wishes to this person. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. In this moment, you are dissolving the ego's categories of important and unimportant people and touching the truth of unity. Let the lotus continue to open. Allow the light and the warmth from your heart to radiate outward, expanding in a great circle. Let it touch all the members of your family. Let it expand to include your friends, your neighbors, your entire community. Let it continue to grow, to encompass your city, your country. See all these beings, each with their own secret struggles and hidden joys, and hold them all in a state of unconditional positive regard. You are not trying to fix their problems. You are simply including them in the resonant field of your own peace. This act is more powerful than you can imagine. You are becoming a beacon, a silent transmitter of coherent, loving energy that ripples out into the collective consciousness. From the quiet of your room, you are contributing to the healing of the world. As the lotus of your heart unfolds, petal by radiant petal, a profound sense of connection and warmth fills your being. You feel less like a fragile, separate self, and more like a conduit for a universal loving force. But every great lotus, in order to reach its full and perfect bloom, must be willing to shine its light into the darkest, most neglected corners of the garden. There is one more circle to embrace, one final frontier for a truly courageous and compassionate heart. It is the circle that contains those who have wounded you, those who have caused you pain. Your mind may recoil at the very thought. Your heart may want to instinctively close back up into the safety of a tight bud. But this is the ultimate test of your practice, and it is the gateway to the most profound liberation of all. The lotus of your heart is opening, its petals radiating a gentle light to all beings. You have extended the warmth of your compassion to yourself, to those you love, and even to those you do not know. A sense of profound connection fills you, a feeling of being a fountain of love, not a drain. But now, we arrive at the final, locked gate within the garden of the heart. Behind this gate reside the ones who are hardest to love, the ones who have wounded you, the ones who have betrayed your trust, spoken cruelly, or acted without care. At the mere thought of them, you can feel the beautiful lotus wanting to clench shut, its petals folding inward to protect its tender core. The warmth in your chest may turn cold. The fortress walls may begin to rise again. Acknowledge this. Honor this reaction. It is the response of a wounded self trying to protect itself. This part of our journey is the most challenging, but it is also the one that offers the most profound and lasting freedom. Let us first examine the nature of the chains you believe you are holding. When someone has harmed you, you hold on to anger, resentment, and the desire for justice. You believe this anger is a weapon you are pointing at them. You believe your resentment is a punishment you are inflicting. You replay the event in your mind, fueling the fire of your indignation, convinced that this is an act of power, a way of holding them accountable. But this is a devastating illusion. The anger you feel is a poison, but you are the one drinking it. The fire of your resentment is burning, but it is your own heart. It is consuming. The heavy chain of your grudge is real, but it is your own hand that is gripping it, and its searing heat is burning away your own peace, your own joy, your own vitality. To hold on to resentment is to allow someone from your past to live inside your head, rent-free, contaminating your present moment, day after day, night after night. It is the ultimate form of self-imprisonment. This creates a powerful inner conflict. On one side, there is the voice of your ego, your inner minister of justice. It screams for fairness. It argues, they don't deserve forgiveness. What they did was wrong. To forgive them is to condone their actions, to let them win, to say it didn't matter. This voice is loud, logical, and compelling. It speaks the language of right and wrong, but on the other side, there is the quiet, exhausted wisdom of your soul. Your soul is the prisoner who is tired of living in the dark, cramped cell of bitterness. Your soul doesn't care about winning or losing the argument. It doesn't care about what the other person deserves. It only cares about one thing: freedom. The choice you face tonight is not between justice and injustice. It is between your continued bondage and your ultimate liberation. Let us return to our metaphor of the chain. Imagine it clearly. It is a thick, iron chain, glowing with a dull red heat. One end is fastened to the person or the memory of the event that caused you so much pain. But the other end, the end you can do something about, is wrapped tightly around your own fist. You are holding it so tightly, your knuckles are white. You believe that by holding on, you are keeping them bound. But look closely. The heat from that chain is traveling up your arm. It is the source of the tension in your shoulders, the ache in your heart, the bitterness in your thoughts. Your life force, the precious energy you need to create, to love, to experience joy, is being constantly diverted to keep that chain hot. Forgiveness is not about polishing the chain and handing it back to the other person as a gift. Forgiveness is the act of pouring the cool, clear water of compassion and understanding upon your own hand, upon your end of the chain. Not for their sake, but for yours. You pour the water until the chain cools enough for you to finally, mercifully, unclench your fist and let it drop to the ground. You are not freeing them. You are freeing yourself. This is the core message, and it bears repeating. Forgiveness is not about them. It is for you. It does not mean you condone what they did. It does not mean what happened was okay. It does not mean you have to forget it, or that you must reconcile with them, or even ever speak to them again. It is a purely internal act of spiritual hygiene. It is you, standing up and declaring with the full authority of your being, I will no longer allow the events of the past to dictate the quality of my present. I will no longer drink poison and expect someone else to suffer. I am reclaiming my energy. I am reclaiming my peace. I am taking my hand out of the fire. This is the ultimate act of self-love. This practice is delicate. It must be approached with immense gentleness. If a wound is still too fresh, too raw, do not force this. For tonight, the intention to one day be free may be enough. But if you feel ready to approach the gate, let us begin. First, and most importantly, return to the deep well of compassion for yourself. Feel the pain this wound has caused you. Acknowledge your own suffering. Wrap yourself in the loving energy of the chant. You are the one who has been carrying this heavy, hot chain. Offer kindness to yourself first. Now, from this place of strength and self-love, allow the image of the person who harmed you to gently enter your awareness. Do not see them in the moment of their transgression. Instead, try to see them as a whole persona person who was once a child, a person who has their own fears, their own insecurities, and their own deep, unhealed wounds. And here is the key that unlocks the gate. Understand that people who are happy, peaceful, and whole do not intentionally inflict deep suffering on others. Their harmful actions were not a sign of their strength, but a direct result of their own pain, their own ignorance, their own fear. They were lashing out from their own dark prison. Their poison was an overflow of the poison they were already drowning in themselves. Seeing this does not excuse their action, but it allows for a shift from pure anger to a more complex, compassionate understanding. And from this space, you can offer a new kind of prayer, a prayer not of pardon, but of release. You do not have to say, "I forgive you." If that feels inauthentic, try these words instead, directing them into the space between you. As you listen to the chant, let its peaceful vibration be the vehicle for your intention, recognizing the suffering in you that caused you to bring suffering to me. I wish for you to be free from that inner pain. Breathe. Feel the shift from anger to a kind of solemn, detached compassion. I am no longer willing to hold on to this anger. For my own sake, I release the debt. I release you from the prison of my resentment. Breathe again. Feel the muscles in your hand, the one holding the chain, begin to relax. In releasing you, I release myself. May you be at peace, so that I may be at peace. And as you say these words, as you feel them in your heart, visualize yourself unclenching your fist. Feel the immense weight of the chain as it slips from your grasp. Hear the loud final clatter as it hits the ground, its heat already dissipating, and feel the sudden, shocking lightness in your own being. Feel the rush of life force returning to you, the energy that was once used to fuel the fire of your anger, now free to heal you, to nourish you, to fill you with peace. You may need to do this many times, but each time the chain will feel lighter, its heat will be less intense, until one day you realize you are no longer holding it at all. And as the chain clatters to the ground, a profound silence enters. The space once occupied by the raging fire of resentment is now cool, open, and free. You have just performed an act of profound spiritual alchemy. You have broken a karmic bond that held you prisoner to the past. This act of release is not an end, but a new beginning. Having cleared the debts of yesterday, you now stand at a powerful threshold, free to consciously choose the seeds you will plant for tomorrow. This brings us to the nature of karma itself, not as a fatalistic sentence from the past, but as the liberating power of conscious choice in the present. The heavy, red-hot chain of resentment has fallen to the ground. In the space where its fiery heat once consumed you, there is now a cool, profound sense of freedom. By releasing another from the prison of your anger, you have liberated yourself. This act of forgiveness is an act of supreme spiritual power. You have consciously broken a karmic bond that tied you to a painful past. This freedom is not an endpoint. It is a new beginning. It is the clean, open field upon which you can now consciously plant the garden of your future. This brings us to the great law of karma, a word so often shrouded in fear and misunderstanding, but one which, when truly understood, is the most empowering and liberating principle of all. For many, the word karma evokes a sense of dread. It sounds like a cosmic judgment, a fatalistic sentence handed down for sins committed in a murky, forgotten past. We imagine it as an inescapable destiny, a cosmic ledger of debts that we are forced to repay. This interpretation, while common, is a disempowering distortion of a beautiful and simple truth. It turns us into helpless victims of a past we cannot remember, absolving us of the responsibility for our present reality. It is the ego's favorite loophole, for if everything is fated, then nothing is truly our fault. We can remain in our suffering, blaming it on bad karma, never having to undertake the challenging work of changing ourselves. Tonight, we will shatter this illusion and reclaim karma for what it truly is, the key to your creative power. The word karma, in its original Sanskrit, means one thing: action. The law of karma is simply the law of cause and effect, the law of action and consequence. It is the spiritual equivalent of Newton's law that for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It is not a punishment. It is a neutral, impersonal, and perfect law of the universe, like gravity. And the most important point of action, the only point where you have any real power, is this present moment, right now. Your life, as it is today, is the harvest of the seeds you planted yesterday, last week, and last year. The thoughts you chose to entertain, the words you spoke, the actions you took, these were the causes. And your current reality is the effect. This may be difficult to accept, but in it lies all your power. Because if this is true, it means that your life tomorrow, next week, and next year will be the harvest of the seeds you are planting right now, in this very moment. You are not a victim of your past. You are the creator of your future. This moment is your point of power. Let us use the metaphor of the gardener, for it is the most perfect illustration. Your mind is the most fertile garden in the universe. It has rich, dark soil that will grow, without judgment, anything you choose to plant in it. Every single thought you have is a seed. A thought of anger is the seed of a thorny, poisonous vine. A thought of jealousy is the seed of a bitter weed. A thought of kindness is the seed of a fragrant, beautiful flower. A thought of gratitude is the seed of a strong, fruit-bearing tree. Now, the wind of the world is always blowing. It will carry seeds into your garden that you did not ask for: a seed of fear from something you see on the news, a seed of inadequacy from an advertisement, a seed of judgment from a passing comment. You cannot always control which seeds land in the soil of your mind. But here is where your absolute power lies. You are the gardener. You have complete authority over which seeds you choose to water. Your attention is the water. Your intention is the sunlight. When a weed seed of resentment lands in your mind, you have a choice. You can dwell on it, replay the story, feed it with your attention, and water it into a thriving, thorny bush that chokes out all the light. Or you can acknowledge it, a seed of resentment, and then deliberately turn your attention away, denying it the water of your focus. You let it wither in the soil from lack of nourishment. Conversely, when a flower seed of compassion lands in your mind, you can cherish it. You can hold it in your awareness. You can nurture it with your focus, giving it the water and sunlight of your loving intention until it blossoms into a beautiful reality. This is the true practice of karma. It is the conscious, moment-by-moment gardening of your own mind. And this very act you are engaged in right now, lying here, choosing to listen to this sacred sound, is an act of masterful gardening. Each time you have noticed your mind wandering and gently brought it back to the breath, you have planted a seed of mindfulness. Each time you have offered yourself a phrase of loving kindness, you have planted a seed of self-acceptance. Each time you chose to release a grievance, you pulled up a poisonous weed by its roots and planted a flower of forgiveness in its place. You are not passively listening to an audiobook. You are actively, powerfully, and deliberately creating positive karma. You are planting the seeds of a future that will be characterized by the very peace, clarity, and compassion you are cultivating right now. Be patient with your garden. Some karmic seeds, like radishes, sprout quickly. You have a kind thought, and you immediately feel a little better. Other seeds, like a mighty oak tree, take a long time to grow. You may practice forgiveness for weeks or months before you feel the great weight of resentment truly lift. This does not mean your practice is not working. It simply means the seed is gathering strength deep beneath the surface, building a strong root system before it breaks through the soil. Have faith in the law. Trust the process. Every single positive intention, every single moment of mindful awareness is a seed that will bear fruit in its own perfect time. Every drop of water counts. You are also contributing to the garden of the world. Just as your thoughts create your inner reality, the collective thoughts of humanity create our shared reality. By cultivating a garden of inner peace, you are not engaging in a selfish act. You are tending to your own small plot of the universal garden, and its fragrance, its harmony, its coherence will inevitably drift over the fence, influencing the world in ways you may never directly see, but which are nonetheless real. To bring peace to yourself is the greatest gift you can give to the world. So you are the gardener, standing in the fertile soil of your own mind, holding the precious seeds of your future. You have the power to choose. You have the power to create. But this realization brings with it a final, profound question. Who exactly is the you that chooses? If you plant your seeds while you are in a state of anger, your hand will be unsteady. If you plant them while you are confused, you will scatter them carelessly. To be a truly wise gardener, you must plant from a place of unshakable stillness, of deep clarity, of profound peace. You must learn to act not from the turbulent, ever-changing surface of your personality, but from the silent, eternal center of your being. Before we can become a master of action, we must first learn to reside in the source of all non-action. We must discover the still point of the turning world. You are the gardener of your own reality, and the present moment is the fertile soil where you plant the seeds of your future. But this realization brings with it a crucial question. From where should you plant? A gardener who is frantic, who is buffeted by the winds of fear and drenched in the rains of confusion, will scatter their seeds without wisdom. To cultivate a life of peace and purpose, you must plant from a place of peace and purpose. You must find the one spot in the entire garden that is sheltered from the wind, that is bathed in a steady, gentle light. You must find your center. This is the search for the still point of the turning world. Our lives are, by their very nature, a turning world. Everything changes. Everything is impermanent. Your health, your finances, your relationships, your successes, your failures, they are all in a constant state of flux. They rise and they fall like the tides. The fundamental error of human consciousness and the source of our deepest anxieties is that we try to build our house on these shifting sands. We attach our sense of identity and well-being to things that are guaranteed to change. We think, when I achieve that success, then I will be secure. But once you achieve it, you are filled with the new anxiety of losing it. We think, when I find that perfect relationship, then I will be whole. But relationships evolve and change, and our wholeness remains dependent on another's actions. We are constantly chasing fleeting pleasures and running from inevitable pains. We have tied our inner peace to the chaotic, unpredictable weather of the external world. This creates the great conflict between our conditioning and our intuition. Our lifelong conditioning, reinforced by every aspect of our culture, screams at us to look for happiness out there. It tells us to strive more, acquire more, control more. It is a powerful hypnotic pull. But your deeper intuition, the quiet voice of your soul, whispers a different truth. It whispers that no matter what you achieve or acquire, the feeling of restless seeking never truly ends. It hints that the treasure you are looking for is not outside of you, but has been within you all along. The spiritual journey is the courageous act of turning away from the deafening noise of the world and beginning the inward search for the source of true, unconditional peace. Let us use the powerful metaphor of a hurricane. A life lived on the surface of the ego is like being caught in the outer bands of the storm. The winds are terrifying. The debris of past events and future worries flies around you. The noise is deafening. You are tossed about, helpless, clinging to whatever you can for a sense of safety, but everything you grab is eventually ripped away. This is a life of constant struggle and fear. But every hurricane, no matter how powerful, has at its very center an eye of profound and uncanny calm. Within the eye, the winds cease. The sky can be clear and blue. There is a pocket of absolute tranquility that is not only untouched by the storm, but is the very center around which the entire storm revolves. This eye of the storm is within you. It is your true nature. It is the still point of the turning world. While your personality, your body, your emotions, and your life circumstances are all part of the chaotic, spinning winds, there is a part of you, a core of your being, that is not spinning. It is perfectly still, silent, and at peace, witnessing the entire storm without being affected by it. This is the silent watcher, the witness consciousness, your true self. All suffering comes from identifying with the storm. All freedom comes from learning to rest in the eye. So who is this watcher? It is the awareness that is prior to all thought and emotion. Before a thought of anger arises, there must be an awareness to perceive it. Before a feeling of sadness arises, there must be a consciousness in which it can appear. We have been conditioned to believe that we are the thought, that we are the feeling. The Great Awakening is the shift in identification from the passing phenomena to the timeless awareness that is watching them. You are not the anger. You are the silent, loving space in which anger is allowed to arise, be felt, and pass away. You are not the fear. You are the vast, open sky in which the cloud of fear temporarily appears. The cloud cannot harm the sky. The sky simply allows it to be, knowing that it too shall pass. The chant you are listening to is a perfect tool for strengthening your connection to this watcher. The sound arises, and the watcher notices it. A thought about the sound arises, and the watcher notices the thought. The sound fades, and the watcher notices the silence. It is a constant, gentle training in disidentification. Let us practice this right now. As you lie here, simply become the watcher. A thought may drift into your mind, perhaps about something you forgot to do. Instead of getting on that train of thought, simply notice it from a distance. Silently, you can label it. Ah, a thought is here. And you, the watcher, remain still. A sensation may arise in your body, an itch or an ache. Instead of becoming the itch, become the vast, silent awareness that is noticing the sensation of itching. A feeling may arise, perhaps of peace, or perhaps of restlessness. Do not cling to the peace or resist the restlessness. Simply watch. Awareness is noticing a feeling of peace. Awareness is noticing a feeling of restlessness. You are the serene, impartial scientist of your own inner world, observing the data without becoming entangled in it. This is the art of compassionate detachment. It is not a cold or unfeeling state. On the contrary, the still point is a place of profound love and intelligence. It is love because it allows everything to be as it is, without judgment. It is intelligent because from this stable, clear vantage point, you can see the workings of your own mind with perfect clarity. It is from this center that true, wise action, the conscious planting of karmic seeds we spoke of earlier, can arise, undistorted by the ego's frantic fears and selfish desires. This practice transforms your relationship with pain. Physical or emotional pain is an inevitable part of human life. But suffering is a choice. Pain is the raw, physical, or energetic sensation. Suffering is the second layer, the mental story that the ego adds on top of the pain. The story sounds like this. This is terrible. I can't stand this. It shouldn't be happening. Why me? This story is a second arrow, and it is often more painful than the first. By learning to reside as the watcher, you learn to experience the first arrow of pain without creating the second arrow of suffering. You can watch the sensation of pain with a compassionate, accepting awareness. It may be intense, but it is just a strong energy. You are the space that holds it, and because you are vast and spacious, you cannot be truly harmed by it. And so you rest as this sky, this silent watcher, this still point at the center of all movement. You have discovered a freedom that is not fragile, a peace that is not dependent on your life being perfect. It is the peace of your own unshakable nature. But you are not just formless awareness. You are formless awareness that has chosen to experience life through the incredible gift of a human body. You are the silent sky looking out through the windows of human eyes. What happens then when we turn this silent, loving, non-judgmental gaze of the watcher back onto its own precious vessel? What wisdom does the body hold when we learn to listen to it not with the chattering mind of the ego, but with the deep, silent awareness of the still point? You are resting as the still point, the silent, unmoving center of the turning world. You are the vast and peaceful sky, watching the clouds of thought and feeling drift by without attachment. From this place of profound and spacious freedom, we now turn our gaze. We bring this silent, loving, non-judgmental awareness back to the very vessel that makes this human experience possible. We turn our attention to the body. For most of your life, you have lived in a state of deep disconnection from this sacred, earthly form. You have treated it like a machine to be optimized, a beast of burden to be pushed past its limits, or an object in the mirror to be judged and criticized. You have lived in your head, a disembodied mind using your body as a vehicle to get from one task to the next, ignoring its subtle whispers of wisdom until they were forced to become screams of pain, illness, or exhaustion. Tonight, we end this exile. We begin the journey home into the forgotten wisdom of your own flesh and blood. The conflict between the mind and the body is the source of so much of our dis-ease. The ego mind is a tyrant. It issues commands based on abstract ideas and future goals. It says, you must work late, even though you are tired. It says, you must look a certain way to be worthy of love. It says, ignore that feeling of anxiety in your gut, just push through. The body, however, is not a slave. It is a deeply intelligent organism, a walking ecosystem of unimaginable complexity and wisdom. And unlike the mind, the body cannot lie, and it cannot live anywhere but the present moment. It is your grounding rod in reality. Its language is not words, but sensation. The tightness in your shoulders, the warmth in your belly, the ache in your lower back, the flutter of your heart. These are not random malfunctions. They are bulletins from the front lines of your life, truthful reports on the state of your being. For years, the tyrant mind has ignored these reports. The practice of embodiment is to gently depose the tyrant and begin to listen with deep respect to the wise counselor that is your body. Let us hold a new metaphor. Your body is a living, breathing temple. It is an intricate, holy architecture of bone, muscle, and nerve. Your consciousness is the caretaker of this temple. For a long time, the caretaker has been distracted. It has been obsessively reading old scriptures, ruminating on the past, or endlessly drawing up new architectural plans, worrying about the future. All the while, the sacred temple itself has been neglected. Dust has gathered in the corners, the sacred fires have dimmed, and a general air of disrespect has settled in. The practice of the body scan is the caretaker finally putting down the scrolls and the blueprints, picking up a soft cloth, and beginning to move lovingly through every chamber of the temple, not to judge its imperfections, but to honor its sanctity, to clean its altars, and to rekindle its inner light. The chant you are hearing is the sacred music that fills the temple as you do this work, reminding you with every note that this is holy ground. Let us begin this appreciative pilgrimage. The intention is not to find your flaws or to diagnose your pains. The intention is simply to bring the light of your gentle, non-judgmental awareness to each part of yourself and to say silently, I see you. I feel you. Thank you. Let the soothing vibration of the chant be the carrier wave for your attention. Bring your awareness all the way down to your feet, nestled at the far end of your bed. For a moment, just feel them. Feel the bones, the muscles, the skin. These feet have carried you through your entire life. They have walked on hard pavement and soft grass. They have stood for hours when you were tired. They connect you to the earth. Send a wave of gratitude down to your feet. Let the sound of the chant wash over them. Thank you. Allow your awareness to drift up to your ankles, your calves, your knees. These legs have given you the power of movement, of exploration, of freedom. They have allowed you to run, to dance, to climb. Feel their strength. Bathe them in the resonant sound. Thank you. Bring your attention now to your thighs and your hips, the powerful bowl that supports your torso. This area so often stores tension and emotion. Do not try to release it. Simply notice it. Let the warmth of your awareness and the vibration of the sound permeate this area, bringing a sense of softness and acceptance. Thank you. Now, move your awareness into the great chamber of your abdomen. Feel the gentle rhythmic rise and fall with your breath. Within this space, the incredible alchemy of digestion and creation takes place. It is the seat of your gut feelings, your deep intuition. Instead of judging its shape or size, honor its power and its wisdom. Send it a wave of loving kindness. Thank you. Let your focus travel upward into your chest, the home of your heart and lungs. Feel the steady, faithful beat of your heart, a rhythm that has persisted without a single conscious command from you since before you were born. Feel the gentle expansion and contraction of your lungs, the constant exchange between your inner and outer worlds. This is the center of your connection to life. Rest your awareness here, in this sacred space, and listen to the chant as if it is the song of your own heart. Thank you. Bring your awareness to your back, your spine, the great pillar of your temple. It supports you, allows you to stand tall, and protects the delicate pathways of your nervous system. Feel its length, its strength, its curves. Let the healing sound flow up and down your spine, releasing the burdens it has carried for so long. Thank you. Now, let your attention flow down your arms to your hands. These hands are your instruments of creation and connection in the world. They have built, they have fixed, they have typed, they have cooked, they have held the hands of loved ones, they have wiped away tears. Feel the life, the energy, the tingling potential in your palms and fingers. Offer them your deepest gratitude. Thank you. Move your awareness to your shoulders, neck, and throat. This is a great junction where so much tension accumulates. The weight of responsibility settles on the shoulders. Unspoken words get stuck in the throat. Without trying to change anything, simply allow this area to be bathed in the warm light of your attention and the soothing vibration of the chant. Give this area permission to soften, to release. Thank you. Finally, bring your awareness to your face and your head. Feel the complex web of tiny muscles around your eyes, your mouth, your jaw. Let them go soft. Release the clenching in your jaw. Smooth the furrow in your brow. Then move your awareness inside your skull to your brain itself. This incredible organ has worked so hard for you. It has solved problems, learned skills, and created ideas. Now, you can thank it for its tireless service and give it permission to rest, to be quiet, to simply be held in the silence and the sound. Thank you. You have now visited your entire temple with loving presence. You are no longer a disembodied mind. You are fully inhabiting your physical form, grounded in the reality of the present moment. And as you have traveled through your body on this pilgrimage, you may have noticed something truly remarkable. A tingling in your hands that was there, one moment was gone the next. An ache in your back that seemed solid and permanent began to soften and change under your gentle attention. A feeling of warmth spread through your chest and then faded into a neutral sensation. Your body, without speaking a single word, has just taught you the most profound and liberating truth of existence. Everything changes. Nothing is permanent. Every sensation, every feeling, every thought arises, stays for a time, and inevitably passes away. You have just witnessed the great river of impermanence flowing through your own cells. Let us now take this embodied wisdom and expand our gaze to see how this same sacred river flows through every aspect of all of life. Your own body has been your wisest teacher. In the silent pilgrimage from your feet to your head, you felt it directly. The tingling that arose and then vanished, the tension that softened under your gaze, the warmth that spread and then receded. You have experienced, in your own cells, the most fundamental law of the universe. It is the truth that underlies every spiritual tradition, the engine that drives all of existence. The truth is this: everything changes, everything is impermanent, nothing is solid, nothing lasts. Your body, your thoughts, your feelings, your relationships, this sound you are hearing, the stars in the sky, all are in a constant, relentless state of flux, arising, staying for a time, and inevitably passing away. For the human ego, this truth is terrifying. The ego is a creature that craves security. It wants solid ground beneath its feet. It builds its identity on things it believes to be permanent: its youth, its health, its roles, its beliefs, its possessions. And so, it lives in a state of constant, undeclared war with reality. It fights a desperate, losing battle against the fundamental nature of the universe. We cling to pleasure, terrified of it ending. We resist pain, convinced it will last forever. We grasp at moments of joy, trying to freeze them in time. We deny the reality of aging, sickness, and loss. This struggle, this resistance to the natural flow of life, is the very definition of suffering. It is the friction between our desire for permanence and the universe's law of impermanence. It is like trying to hold back the ocean with your bare hands. It is an exhausting and heartbreaking exercise in futility. The inner conflict, then, is between the part of you that wants to cling and the part of you that knows it must let go. It is the white-knuckled grip of attachment versus the open, trusting palm of surrender. It is the mind that wants to build a fortress on the riverbank versus the soul that knows it is the river itself. We have been taught that letting go is a form of weakness, a failure to hold on to what is good. But true strength lies not in resisting the current, but in learning to navigate it with grace and skill. Let us embrace the great metaphor of the river. Life is a vast, powerful river, always flowing from an unknown source to an unknown destination. The suffering mind is the one who stands on the bank, terrified of the water. It tries to build a dam to stop the river, to create a small, predictable, stagnant pond it can control. But the river is too powerful. It will always breach the dam, causing catastrophic floods. Or, the suffering mind jumps into the river but immediately tries to grab onto a passing loga happy moment, a relationship, a success, and hold on to it for dear life, refusing to let it go. But the river keeps flowing, and the effort of clinging to the log while the powerful current pulls at you is draining, and eventually your grip will fail. The wise mind, the mind of the spiritual practitioner, takes a different approach. It accepts the nature of the river. It builds a strong, flexible raft. Its resilience, its awareness, its compassion. It doesn't try to stop the flow. It gets on its raft and learns to ride the current. It uses its paddle of wisdom to navigate, steering gently around the sharp rocks of adversity and through the churning rapids of chaos. It also learns to relax and drift in the slow, peaceful stretches, savoring the journey without trying to make it last forever. The wise mind understands that the point of being on the river is not to fight it, but to participate in its majestic, mysterious journey. When you can truly embrace this, an incredible transformation occurs. You realize that the law of impermanence is not a curse. It is the secret ingredient that gives life its preciousness, its beauty, its poignancy. Would a sunset be so breathtakingly beautiful if the sky remained painted in those fiery colors for all eternity? Its fleeting, transient nature is what makes you stop, watch, and be filled with awe. Would the cherry blossoms in spring move your heart so deeply if they bloomed all year round? It is the knowledge that they will be gone in a week that makes their brief explosion of beauty so profound. Would you cherish the moments of connection with your loved ones so fiercely if you knew you had an infinite amount of time together? The truth is, the ending of things is what makes them sacred. Impermanence is a constant invitation from the universe to wake up, to be present, to pay attention, because this moment, exactly as it is, will never come again. You do not have to look outside yourself for a teacher of this great law. The chant you are listening to is a living lesson in impermanence. Shift your attention now. Instead of hearing the chant as a continuous stream, try to hear it as a waterfall made of a billion individual droplets of sound. Focus on a single syllable or note. Hear its birth as it emerges from the silence. Notice the brief moment it exists at the peak of its vibration, and then, with equal attention, witness its decay as it fades, dissolves, and disappears back into the silence from which it came, making way for the next note to be born. The entire beauty of the chant exists only because of this constant, graceful dance of arising and passing. It is a perfect microcosm of all life, This understanding changes how you relate to your own inner world. When a wave of sadness washes over you, you no longer have to panic and resist it. You can meet it with the wisdom of impermanence, thinking, this is the feeling of sadness. It is here now. It will not be here forever. It is a cloud passing through the sky of my being. This allows you to feel it fully, to learn its lesson, without being drowned by it. When a moment of pure joy arises, you no longer have to cling to it with anxiety, worrying about it ending. You can dive into it completely, savoring its sweetness, knowing that its passing is part of its perfection. By practicing with these small deaths, the death of a sound, the death of a sensation, the death of a mood, you are preparing yourself for the great changes of life. You are building the muscle of non-attachment, of graceful surrender. You are learning to trust the flow. You are looking at nature and seeing its wisdom. The tree does not cling to its leaves in autumn. It lets them go, trusting in the coming spring. The moon does not mourn its own waning. It trusts in the cycle that will bring it back to fullness. And as you learn to float on this great river of life, you stop demanding that the scenery be perfect. You stop wishing for only calm waters and sunny skies. You begin to appreciate the journey itself. You see the gnarled, twisted beauty of a dead tree on the riverbank. You feel the exhilarating power of the rapids. You notice the deep, mysterious shadows cast by the passing clouds. You realize that beauty is not found only in perfection and permanence, but in the authentic, transient, and often flawed character of what is. This is the gateway to a deeper, quieter aesthetic of the soul, a way of seeing the world that finds grace in imperfection itself. You are floating on the great, sacred river of impermanence, learning to move with its current rather than fighting its flow. As you surrender to this journey, a new wisdom begins to dawn. You realize that your task is not to demand that the scenery on the riverbank be perfect, flawless, and unchanging. Your task is to learn to see the beauty in the landscape exactly as it is. This is the art of finding grace in imperfection. Our world worships at the altar of the flawless. We are taught to admire the polished, the symmetrical, the new, the airbrushed. We apply this harsh, clinical standard to our homes, our careers, and most brutally to ourselves. This relentless pursuit of perfection is a prison for the soul. Let us be clear about what perfectionism truly is. It is not the noble, joyful striving for excellence. It is a desperate, fear-based defense mechanism of the ego. It is rooted in the terrifying belief that if we are not perfect, we will not be safe. The perfectionist thinks, if my work is flawless, I cannot be criticized. If my body is flawless, I cannot be rejected. If my life is flawless, I cannot be judged. And so we live in a state of constant low-grade anxiety, terrified of making a mistake, of revealing a flaw, of being exposed as the imperfect humans we all are. This fear leads to a state of creative paralysis, where we are too afraid to even begin a task for fear of not doing it perfectly. It leads to chronic dissatisfaction, where even our successes feel hollow because we can only see the tiny imperfections. It is a gilded cage that promises security but delivers only the misery of never being good enough. This creates a painful conflict between the curated world we see and the real world we live in. We scroll through the filtered images of other people's lives. We are bombarded by advertisements selling us flawless beauty and effortless success, and we compare that impossible ideal to the messy, complicated, beautiful, and deeply imperfect reality of our own human experience. In the gap between that ideal and our reality, shame and self-rejection take root and flourish. We believe that we are the only ones with cracks, with scars, with a messy history. Tonight, we will learn a new way of seeing. We will borrow a lens from the ancient wisdom of Japan, a concept known as wabi-sabi. Wabi speaks of a rustic simplicity, a quietness that comes from living in harmony with nature. Sabi speaks of the beauty that is found in age, in wear, in the marks left by time and experience. Together, wabi-sabi is a worldview that finds profound beauty and spiritual depth in things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It is the beauty of a moss-covered stone, of a handmade, asymmetrical cup, of a weathered wooden door. It is the wisdom to see that the so-called flaws are not defects. They are the marks of authenticity. They are the signature of a real life, lived in a real world. They are the things that give an object, or a person, its unique soul. Let us embrace a powerful metaphor. The perfectionist mind desires a teacup made of brilliant, white, factory-produced porcelain. It is perfectly symmetrical. Its surface is smooth and without blemish, and it is identical to a million others. It is perfect, but it is cold. It has no story. The heart that understands wabi-sabi cherishes a different kind of cup. It is a chawan, a tea bowl handcrafted by an artisan. It is slightly asymmetrical. The glaze is uneven. You can feel the pressure of the maker's thumbs in the clay. It is unique. It has character. Now, imagine this beloved bowl is dropped and it shatters. The perfectionist mind says, it is ruined, it is useless, throw it away. But the wabi-sabi master sees an opportunity. They carefully gather every piece, every tiny shard, and they painstakingly mend the bowl using a special lacquer mixed with powdered gold. This art is called kintsugi, or golden repair. The cracks are not hidden, they are not disguised. They are illuminated with gold, celebrated as the most beautiful, most essential part of the bowl's history. The bowl is now more precious, more beautiful, and more resilient than it was before it was broken. You are this tea bowl. Your life, with its moments of being dropped, of being shattered by heartbreak, by failure, by loss, these are not your shame. These are your kintsugi. The lines of your supposed imperfections are the golden seams of your life's story. That scar on your skin is not a flaw. It is a golden seam that tells a story of survival. Those wrinkles around your eyes are not a sign of decay. They are golden seams that map 1,000 smiles and 1,000 tears of a life fully felt. That mistake you made in your past, that you have carried in shame for so long, is a golden seam. For the wisdom and compassion you gained from that experience are the gold that now mends you. Stop trying to hide your cracks. They are where the light gets in. They are what make you breathtakingly, authentically, and uniquely beautiful. Let us now practice looking with this wabi-sabi gaze. Turn this gentle, appreciative, artistic eye back upon the tapestry of your own life. Think of a part of your body you have always judged as imperfect. Instead of seeing it through the harsh lens of criticism, can you see it with quiet acceptance? Can you appreciate its function, its uniqueness, its simple beingness, just as it is? Send it a wave of gratitude, a soft, golden light. Think of a time you failed at something. Instead of reliving the shame of the outcome, can you look for the golden seam? What did you learn? What strength did you discover? How did that failure redirect you to a path that was ultimately more true for you? See the event not as a black mark, but as a crack that was mended with the gold of wisdom. Think of your life as it is right now. It is incomplete. There are dreams not yet realized, goals not yet reached. The perfectionist mind sees this as a state of lack. The wabi-sabi mind sees this as the exquisite beauty of becoming. You are not a static, finished product. You are a living, evolving work of art. The beauty is in the process, not in the completion. When you begin to see through these eyes, a profound peace settles over you. The exhausting, relentless striving for an impossible ideal can finally cease. You can exhale. You can relax into the humble, authentic beauty of who you actually are, right now. You can stop apologizing for your imperfections and begin to see them as your greatest strengths. This perspective also transforms your relationships. You stop demanding perfection from others, and you can begin to cherish their unique, flawed, wabi-sabi humanity. You see their golden seams, their beautiful repairs, and you love them more deeply for their authentic, lived-in beauty. The chant you are hearing carries this quality. It is not the sound of a perfect, synthesized machine. It is the sound of the human spirit, with all its subtle variations, offering its sincere, imperfectly perfect vibration to the universe. When you adopt the wabi-sabi gaze, your entire world begins to transform. The harsh, critical lens of judgment falls away, and you begin to see through the soft, gentle lens of appreciation. You stop noticing what is wrong, what is missing, what is broken. Instead, you begin to see the quiet beauty, the resilient history, the humble truth in everything. And this fundamental shift in perception, from focusing on lack to appreciating what is, has a name. It is called gratitude. You have stopped demanding that life be different from what it is, and you are now ready, finally, to thank it for being exactly as it is. You have journeyed through the river of impermanence and arrived on the quiet shores of acceptance. You have looked upon your own beautiful, flawed humanity through the gentle eyes of wabi-sabi. As you cease to struggle against what is, as you stop demanding that life be perfect, a new feeling begins to naturally arise from the depths of your being. It is a soft warmth in the chest, a quiet sense of appreciation, a gentle hum of contentment. This feeling has a name. It is gratitude. Gratitude is not something you must force or fake. It is the natural state of a heart that has stopped fighting with reality. It is the fragrance that is released when the flower of acceptance opens. For most of our lives, we operate from a place of deep, unconscious scarcity. Our brains are biologically wired with a negativity bias. To ensure our survival as a species, our ancestors needed to be hyper-aware of threats, dangers, and what was lacking in their environment. A missed predator was more significant than a beautiful sunset. This ancient wiring is still active within you. Your mind is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. It is naturally skilled at scanning your life and identifying what is wrong, what is missing, what could be a threat. This is why, even in a life filled with blessings, the mind can so easily fixate on the one thing that is not right. It is not a personal failing. It is your evolutionary inheritance. But it is an inheritance that, in the modern world, no longer serves your happiness. This wiring creates the inner conflict between the hungry ghost of the ego and the full heart of the soul. The ego is a hungry ghost, never satisfied. It lives in a perpetual state of not enough money, not enough success, not enough love, not enough time. Its primary fuel is comparison, constantly looking at what others have and feeling a sense of lack. Its entire strategy for happiness is based on acquiring something more in the future. The soul, however, lives in the eternal now. It knows that the only point of power and the only place peace can be found is in this moment. Gratitude is the practice of consciously siding with the soul. It is the disciplined, spiritual act of overriding your brain's default negativity and deliberately, tenderly, turning your attention to the abundance that is already here. Let us use our metaphor of the lens. Your mind is the one and only lens through which you can experience reality. For many of us, this lens is dirty. It is smudged with the greasy fingerprints of past grievances. It is fogged by the misty vapor of future anxieties. It is coated in a fine layer of cultural dust that whispers, more, more, more. And when we look at our beautiful, miraculous lives through this filthy lens, everything appears dim, disappointing, and lacking. The practice of gratitude is the simple, profound act of cleaning this lens. Each thought of genuine appreciation is like a wipe with a soft, clean cloth. As you begin to practice, you start to clean off the most obvious smudges. The world looks a little brighter. As you continue, with patience and sincerity, you clean away the deeper, more ingrained layers of grime. The light of reality begins to pour through, vibrant and dazzling. The world has not changed at all, but you have changed the lens through which you see it. And in doing so, you have changed everything. Gratitude is more than just a positive sentiment or a polite platitude. It is a vibrational state. It is a powerful frequency that you emit into the universe. The state of complaint, of lack, of victimhood has a low, chaotic frequency. The state of gratitude, appreciation, and abundance has a high, coherent, harmonious frequency. And the universe, like a great cosmic mirror, tends to reflect back to you the very frequency you are broadcasting. When you live in a state of complaint, you will find more and more things to complain about. When you consciously choose to inhabit the state of gratitude, you align yourself with the universal law of abundance. You begin to notice more things to be grateful for. The right people, the right opportunities, the right insights begin to flow to you more easily. Gratitude is the ultimate spiritual currency. It transforms what you have into enough, and often into more than enough. So let us practice, here and now, in the stillness of your room. This is not about making a grand list of your lifetime achievements. It is about noticing the humble, profound blessings of this exact moment. As the healing sound of the chant continues to hold you, let your awareness drift gently around your immediate experience and silently name the gifts you find. Let them float through your mind like soft feathers without any need to hold on to them. Begin with your breath, a process so miraculous, so essential, happening all on its own. For this breath, this tide of life flowing in and out, I am grateful. Feel the bed beneath you, the softness of the mattress, the warmth of the blanket. It is a sanctuary of comfort and safety. For this simple, profound comfort, I am grateful. Listen to the quiet of your room, a space of peace, a refuge from the demands and the noise of the world. For this sanctuary of silence, I am grateful. Acknowledge your body, this imperfectly perfect vessel that has carried you through another day. For its tireless work, for its capacity to heal, for the simple fact that it is alive, I am grateful. Think of one person or even one pet whose existence makes your life better. Bring their image to your heart and feel a wave of appreciation for their presence in your world. For this connection, I am grateful. Finally, feel a sense of gratitude for your own awareness, for this capacity to notice, to feel, to heal, to choose, for this journey inward that you have undertaken tonight. For your own courage and willingness to grow, I am grateful. Do not just think the words, try to feel them. Feel the gentle, expansive warmth that gratitude kindles in your chest. It is the feeling of a heart that is full. It is the end of striving and the beginning of receiving. It is the peace of knowing that in this moment, all is well. You have everything you need. You even become grateful for the challenges, for the kintsugi cracks mended with gold, for they have made you stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Gratitude dissolves the ego's complaints. It erases the bitterness of comparison. It anchors you in the deep, unshakable peace of the present moment. And so you rest here, wrapped in a warm blanket of your own gratitude. The world has not changed, but you have changed your relationship to it. You have cleaned the lens of your perception. In this state of grace, nothing is mundane. The simple act of breathing is a miracle. The safety of your bed is a profound blessing. The coming period of rest is a sacred gift. What happens then when we approach the very act of sleep, not as an unconscious collapse or a nightly escape, but with this same sense of reverence, wonder, and gratitude? What happens when sleep itself becomes a sacred ritual? You are resting in a state of profound gratitude, wrapped in the warmth of your own appreciation for the simple, profound gift of this moment. In this state of grace, the ordinary becomes sacred. The simple breath is a miracle. The stillness is a form of prayer. Now, we bring this sacred gaze to the final, most common, and most overlooked act of our day. We bring it to the act of sleep itself. For most of our lives, we have treated sleep as a biological necessity, a form of collapse, or an escape. We work and worry and stare at screens until the last possible moment, and then we crash into bed, our minds still buzzing with the chaotic energy of the day. We fall into unconsciousness like a stone dropped into a well. But what if there is another way? What if, instead of falling, we could enter? What if sleep was not an escape from your life, but a pilgrimage into its very heart? The way you enter sleep determines the quality of your rest and the nature of your inner world throughout the night. An unconscious entry, filled with the residue of stress and anxiety, leads to restless sleep and fragmented dreams. You are essentially dragging the chaos of the day into your subconscious, asking it to sort through the noise all night long. You may awaken feeling physically rested, but with a sense of inner fatigue, as if you have been running mental marathons while you slept. The conflict here is between the modern, productivity-obsessed mind that sees sleep as wasted, unproductive time, and the deep, ancient wisdom of the soul, which knows that sleep is a period of profound inner work, of healing, of cellular regeneration, and of sacred communion with the deepest parts of your own consciousness. Tonight, we choose to side with the soul. We choose to transform this act from a collapse into a ritual. We elevate it from a biological function to a spiritual practice. To do this, we must first change our perception of the space around us. See your bedroom not merely as a room with a bed, but as your own private, consecrated temple. It is a sanctuary that you have prepared, dedicated to peace, healing, and renewal. Now, see your bed not as a mere piece of furniture, but as the sacred altar within your temple. It is upon this altar that the great, mysterious alchemy of transformation takes place each night. The act of lying down is the act of presenting yourself in all your humanity before this holy place. And sleep itself, that vast, mysterious ocean of consciousness, is the Holy of Holies, the inner sanctum, where your finite self is invited to dissolve back into the infinite, to be healed and made whole. When you see it this way, you no longer fall asleep. The word fall implies an accident, a loss of control. Instead, you consciously and reverently enter sleep. You are not a victim of exhaustion. You are a pilgrim, beginning a sacred nightly journey. During your waking hours, you operate primarily from your conscious mind. But when you sleep, you embark on a voyage into the vast, largely unexplored territories of your subconscious and superconscious minds. This is where deep healing occurs. This is where the insights that are unavailable to your rational mind can surface. This is where your entire being, physical, mental, emotional, and energetically repaired and restored. By approaching this journey with intention, you can become a collaborator in your own healing. You can give your subconscious, that faithful, tireless servant, its sacred mission for the night. So let us now perform the simple, beautiful ritual of conscious entry into the temple of night. The first step is the great release. Take one last, slow, deep breath in, and as you exhale, with a long, gentle sigh, consciously release the entire day that has just passed. Release your successes so they do not inflate your ego. Release your failures so they do not weigh on your heart. Release the conversations, the tasks, the worries. Let it all fall away from you. You arrive at this sacred altar completely empty-handed, unburdened, present. The second step is the declaration of intention. Now, in the stillness of your own heart, you give your inner self its sacred direction for the journey. Your intention can be very simple. Silently, or in a soft whisper, state what you wish to receive from this period of rest. It might be, I enter this sleep for deep healing and perfect restoration. It might be a request for insight. I ask for clarity on the situation with a person or problem. May the solution come to me in my dreams or upon waking, or it could be a simple desire for peace. May my sleep be deep and dreamless. May my heart remain open and at peace. You are like a ship's captain, setting the coordinates for the night's voyage. You are planting a seed of purpose in the fertile soil of your subconscious. The third step is conscious surrender. You have set your intention. Now your work is done. You must surrender the outcome to the greater intelligence of life that works through you. Feel yourself at the very threshold of sleep. See it not as a cliff to fall off of, but as a soft, dark velvet curtain. It is a doorway into mystery. There is nothing to fear. It is your own innermost self that awaits you on the other side. Trust the process completely. Know that you are held, that you are safe, and that this journey is for your highest good. And the final step is using the chant as your guide through the doorway. As you feel the gentle pull of sleep, the great wave that is coming to carry you away, do not resist it, and do not try to force it. Simply rest your fading awareness on the sound you are hearing. Let it be the last, thin, golden thread that connects your waking mind to the world of sleep. Cling to it loosely. Let the waves of sound be the waves that rock you into the deep. There is no need to try to stay awake now. There is no need to try to fall asleep. Both are forms of effort. Your only task is to rest in the sound and to allow. Allow the darkness behind your eyelids to absorb you. Allow the rhythm of the chant to become the rhythm of your descent. Allow the great mystery to claim you for a time. When you practice this sacred ritual, you transform sleep from a passive event into a creative act. You are no longer simply sleeping, you are incubating. You are marinating your consciousness in peace, healing, and purpose. The subconscious mind, having been given a clear and positive instruction, will work diligently on your behalf throughout the night, untangling energetic knots, repairing cellular damage, and seeking solutions that your conscious mind is too limited to find. You will begin to notice a change in how you awaken. Instead of being jolted back into consciousness by an alarm clock, feeling groggy and unrested, you may find yourself gently emerging, as if surfacing from a deep, peaceful sea. You may awaken with a subtle sense of clarity, a feeling of lightness, or the lingering answer to a question you had been pondering. You have been on a pilgrimage, and you are now returning, renewed. And so you surrender to this sacred ritual. You enter the temple of the night, not as a refugee from the day, but as a pilgrim, seeking wisdom and renewal. You trust that in these quiet, mysterious hours, a deep alchemy is at work, transforming your weariness into vitality and your confusion into clarity. But this nightly magic, this profound peace, is not meant to be left behind on the altar when the sun rises. The sacred fire that you rekindle in the temple of night is meant to be carried out into the world. The most important part of this ritual is not what happens when you enter, but how you emerge, and what you choose to carry with you into the dawn. You have journeyed deep into the sacred temple of the night, surrendering to the healing darkness and allowing the great work of restoration to take place. As the first faint light of dawn begins to touch the world, you feel yourself gently returning, surfacing from the deep ocean of sleep. This moment of waking is a sacred threshold, as important and as powerful as the moment of entering sleep. It is a rebirth, a daily resurrection. But the crucial question arises, what now? Does the peace you have cultivated vanish the moment your eyes open? Is the magic of the temple meant only for the shadows of the night, or can you bring its fire out into the light of day? For many who walk a spiritual path, this is the greatest challenge. In the quiet of our practice, we can feel centered, compassionate, and at peace. But the moment we step into the relentless current of our daily lives, the ringing phone, the demanding email, the traffic jam, the difficult conversation, that precious peace seems to evaporate like morning mist. We feel a spiritual crash. The calm, present person we were in our bed is replaced by the reactive, stressed, and hurried person who navigates the world. It can feel like living a double life, a frustrating cycle of finding peace only to lose it again, day after day. This is the conflict between your temple self, the wise and centered being you commune with in the quiet, and your marketplace self, the personality that must interact with a chaotic world. The ultimate purpose of your nightly practice is not to create a temporary escape. It is not to build a beautiful sanctuary that you can only visit when you are asleep. The purpose is to build an inner sanctuary so strong, so stable, and so real that you can carry it with you wherever you go. It is to so deeply infuse your being with the frequency of peace that it becomes your new default setting. It is to learn how to keep the inner fire burning, even in the strongest winds of adversity. This is the great work of integration. Let us use our final, most practical metaphor. Your nightly practice, the listening, the releasing, the conscious surrenderous, the sacred act of building a beautiful warm fire in the hearth of your soul. As you sleep, you are warmed by its glow, protected by its light. When morning comes, you have a choice. The first choice, the one most of the world makes, is to leap up from the hearth, forget the fire completely, and run out into the cold, gray world. You immediately feel the chill of the day's demands, your inner temperature drops, and you spend the rest of the day feeling cold, anxious, and reactive. But there is another choice, the choice of the conscious practitioner. When you awaken, you do not immediately leap up and run. Instead, you take a moment. You turn your attention back to the beautiful, steady fire you kindled in your soul last night. With great care and intention, you reach into the heart of the fire and you select one perfect, glowing ember. This ember contains all the warmth, all the light, and all the peace of the fire in a small, concentrated form. You then place this ember inside a protected lantern that you carry in the center of your chest, in your heart space. This lantern is your mindful awareness. Your task for the day is simple: to carry this ember with you. Throughout your day, as you move through the marketplace of the world, your job is to remember the ember. When you face a moment of darkness, a challenge, a disappointment, a surge of fear, you can turn your inner gaze toward the lantern in your heart. You can feel its gentle, steady warmth. You can see its soft, unwavering light. This ember of peace is your anchor. It is your touchstone. It is a constant internal reminder of the peace that is your true nature. It does not eliminate the cold of the world, but it provides you with your own source of warmth, so you are no longer dependent on external conditions for your inner state. When someone is rude to you, instead of reacting with cold anger, you can touch your inner ember and respond with the warmth of compassion. When you feel overwhelmed, instead of spiraling into frantic anxiety, you can take one conscious breath and feel the steady, peaceful glow within you. This requires a new morning ritual, a sacred bridge between your temple self and your marketplace self. Before you reach for your phone, before you flood your mind with the world's agenda, gift yourself 2 minutes. This may be the most important spiritual practice of your entire day. As you lie there, having just awakened, keep your eyes closed. Take a deep, conscious breath and use it to search for the remnants of last night's peace. Find the lingering resonance of the chant. Recall the feeling of gratitude. Sense the quiet stillness in your being. Find the ember. Once you have located it, place your physical hand over your heart, over your inner lantern. Set a simple, clear intention. Today, I will carry this peace with me. Or, today, I will remember my still center. Or, today, I will meet challenges with the warmth of this ember. You are consciously picking up your tool for the day. Then, and only then, do you begin to move, carrying this intention with you as you take your first step onto the floor. Of course, you will forget. The world is very loud and distracting. There will be times when you get caught up in the storm, when you react with your old conditioning. The winds of the world will blow so hard you will think your inner ember has been extinguished. This is not a failure. It is simply part of the practice. The moment you realize you have forgotten your peace, that is a moment of victory. It is a moment of waking up. In that moment, do not scold yourself. Simply pause, take one breath, place your hand on your heart, and reconnect with the ember. It was never extinguished, merely forgotten. With your breath and your attention, you can fan it back to a gentle glow. The goal is not to never forget. The goal is to get better and better at remembering, more and more quickly. When you carry this ember of peace, you begin to change the world around you in subtle ways. People can feel your warmth. Your non-reactive presence can de-escalate a tense meeting. Your calm can soothe an anxious child. The light from your inner lantern not only illuminates your own path, but it can also help to light the way for others who are stumbling in the dark. You become a walking sanctuary, a mobile temple. And so you practice this day after day. You kindle the fire in the temple of night. You carefully select and carry the ember of peace into the marketplace of the world. You gently remember it and return to it whenever you feel lost or cold. But with time, with sincere and dedicated practice, something extraordinary and mysterious begins to happen. The distinction between you and the ember begins to dissolve. The lantern you carry begins to merge with your own heart. The ember's warmth becomes your own natural warmth. Its steady light becomes the very light of your own consciousness. You begin to realize that you are no longer just the carrier of the fire. You are in your very essence becoming the fire itself. The practice is no longer something you do. It is simply who you are. This is the final, beautiful transformation where the heart itself learns to sing its own unending chant. You have journeyed from the noisy marketplace of the mind to the sacred temple of the heart. You have kindled a fire in the darkness and have learned to carry its precious ember with you into the light of day. But there is one final transformation, one last and most beautiful turn on this spiral path. It is the journey from carrying the fire to becoming the fire. It is the moment when the distinction between the practitioner and the practice dissolves, when the path disappears because you have become the way. This is the destination that is not a destination, the end of seeking and the beginning of simply, profoundly being. For your entire spiritual journey up to this point, there has been a subtle duality. There has been you, the seeker, the one who is practicing, and there has been peace, the state you have been seeking to achieve. This sense of being a seeker is noble, but it is the final, most subtle identity of the ego. The ego loves to have a goal, a project, even if that project is enlightenment. The seeking itself, the striving for a future state of perfect peace, is the very activity that keeps you from realizing that the peace you are seeking is already here, as the fundamental essence of your own being. The great and beautiful paradox is that the treasure was never lost. You were standing on it the entire time you were searching. The final step is to stop searching, to look down, and to realize you are home. This is the shift from effort to grace. The practices we have explored, the breathing, the releasing, the forgiving, the gratitude, are like the scaffolding around a magnificent cathedral. They are essential tools, absolutely necessary to build the structure, to repair the walls, and to install the stained glass windows. But a point comes when the cathedral is complete. It stands on its own, beautiful and whole. To keep the scaffolding up would be to obscure the very beauty you have created. There is a moment when the tools must be set down. This can be frightening for the mind, which has become attached to the doing of the practice. It thinks, if I stop doing my practice, will I lose everything I have gained? The final surrender is to trust that the state you have cultivated is now your natural state. The peace is not something you are creating with effort. It is what remains when all effort ceases. You are not building peace anymore, you are resting in it. Let us use our final metaphor, the journey of music. At the very beginning of this audiobook, you were the listener. The chant was a sound outside of you, a beautiful piece of music you were hearing, hoping its external vibrations would soothe your internal chaos. You were separate from it. Then, with practice, you became the musician. You learned to work with the sound. You synchronized your breath to its rhythm. You used its frequency to tune the instrument of your own being. You actively engaged with the practice, using the chant as your tool to achieve a desired state. You were playing the music of inner peace. But now, the final transformation awaits. It is the dissolution of the musician into the music itself. There is no longer a you who is listening to the chant. There is no longer a you who is using the chant as a tool. The qualities of the chant, its unwavering peace, its unconditional compassion, its steady, harmonious rhythm have so completely permeated your being that the separation has vanished. You and the sound are one. Your silent, aware presence is the silence between the notes. Your compassion for all beings is the sublime harmony of the melody. Your gentle, rhythmic breath is the percussion that keeps the cosmic time. You are not listening to the music. You have become the music. Your heart now sings its own unending chant. What is the practice now? There is no new technique. The practice is simply to live. Your life becomes the meditation. Your breath becomes your prayer. With every inhalation, you consciously receive the grace of the universe. With every exhalation, you offer a silent gift of peace back to the world. Your actions become your ritual. The simple act of washing a dish, when done with this quiet, present awareness, is as sacred as any temple ceremony. A kind word spoken to a stranger is a more powerful offering than any incense burned on an altar. A moment of patient, non-judgmental listening you offer to another is a deeper form of meditation than hours spent on a cushion. Your silence becomes your greatest teaching. When you are rooted in this state of being, you emanate a frequency of peace. You do not need to speak of it. You do not need to preach. Your presence alone becomes a harmonizing force in the world. People will feel calmer around you without knowing why. You become the tuning fork, and others, through sympathetic resonance, may feel their own inner strings returning to a more peaceful note simply by being in your field. This is the selfless service of a being who has come home to themselves. From this state of being, the great challenges we have discussed are no longer challenges. Forgiveness is not a difficult practice. It is the natural expression of a heart that sees no other. Only a shared consciousness expressing itself in different forms. Gratitude is not a list you must remember to make. It is the very air you breathe, a constant, quiet hum of appreciation for the miracle of existence. The still point is no longer a place you must retreat to. It is the ground upon which you walk, the home from which you live, the very center of your unshakable I am. This is the ultimate peace. A peace that the mind cannot understand because it is the peace that arises when the mind grows quiet. It is not dependent on anything. It is not dependent on your life going well, on people approving of you, or on your body being healthy. It is the peace of the deep ocean, which remains undisturbed regardless of the storms that rage on its surface. It is the peace of the vast, empty sky, which remains serene and untouched by the darkest clouds that pass through it. This peace is your true nature. It is who you were before the world told you who you should be. You are the music. You are the peace you were seeking. You are the love you were craving. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to find. The entire journey, with all its twists and turns, has only ever been leading you back to the place where you already were. Home. In the center of your own sacred, silent, unendingly beautiful heart. Let this knowing be the final, gentle note that carries you into the deep, restorative, and welcoming ocean of sleep. Rest now, not as the student, not as the musician, but as the song itself. The journey through the inner landscape of the soul comes to a gentle close. We began with a mind like a restless lake, its surface stirred into chaos by the pebbles of the day. We have traveled far since then. We walked through the echoing halls of the past and the misty valleys of the future. We learned to quiet the noise, not by fighting it, but by listening to the silence that holds it. We learned to forgive, not to absolve others, but to liberate ourselves. We learned that we are not the fleeting wave, but the entire, eternal ocean. Your heart was once like a bell in a storm, struck constantly and randomly by the winds of external events. A word of criticism would make it clang with pain. A surge of fear would make it shudder with a discordant note. A moment of desire would make it ring with a hollow craving. Its sound was the sound of reactivity, a chaotic song dictated by the world outside. But through this journey, you have withdrawn the bell from the storm. You have polished away the dust of old regrets and the tarnish of future anxieties. You have come to know its true nature. Now, the storm of the world may still blow, but the bell no longer rings in response to it. It has found its own intrinsic tone. In the stillness, your heart now emits a single, pure, resonant hum. It is a silent chant, a vibration of deep and unwavering peace. This is the frequency of your true self, a quiet song of compassion that harmonizes the very space you occupy, healing yourself and soothing the world without a single word, without a single effort. The silence you sought was never in the world. It was the stillness of your own awareness. The peace you craved was not a destination to be reached. It was your very nature, waiting to be uncovered. The love you longed for was not something to be earned. It was the very essence of your own being, waiting to be expressed. This entire journey was not about becoming someone new. It was a great and beautiful act of remembering who you have always been. You were not seeking a path, you were simply remembering the way home. Sleep now. Sleep not as an escape from a world that has wounded you, but as a deep and conscious return to the source of your own being. And when the morning comes, awaken. Awaken not as the person who went to bed, tired and seeking refuge, but as the silent, spacious awareness that was waiting for you all along. Awaken as the peace. Awaken as the love. Awaken as the silent music of your own compassionate heart.